What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here, man, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, that's gonna make us question everything. So you can sit back. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Say it with me, y'all. Y'all know what we do. Let's seek the truth.
14 years before the Titanic sank, there was a man named Morgan Robertson who wrote a book called Futility, which focused on an ocean liner named the Titan that hits an iceberg in the Atlantic Ocean on the starboard side at midnight and in April. And in real life, the Titanic is struck on the starboard side by an iceberg in the Atlantic Ocean at midnight in April. And both stories have the fact that there weren't enough lifeboats to save everyone. I find that just really interesting because I feel like every major event that has prompted fear in our minds, like I know people that they've all been predicted, like or it's just like this weird programming, but I know people who won't go on cruises because of the Titanic. Like that's just so like that's what they want your attention to be focused on, rather than the fact that this event led to the entirety of the American financial system. But anyways, this is my driver, and I literally have always been so fascinated by the Titanic. Like if there was an extracurricular project, even in like 4th grade, I did it on the Titanic. Like I had 3 of them, and then my teacher was finally like, can you just do something else maybe? And I was like, okay, bet. Have you ever heard of Bigfoot? So yeah, I've been curious about it for a long time, and just never ends.
Those are so shocking parallels, man. I'm definitely gonna have to check out that book. I didn't even know a book like that was even out, man. Bro, what she was saying, man, those and what that book was saying, it was lining up too perfectly, bro. Titanic. Tell me if I'm lying, bro. Tell me down below, man.
First time in human history that a corporation has been able to patent a seed and then sue farmers for saving it. Monsanto, now owned by Bayer, created genetically modified seeds and made it illegal for farmers to do what they have always done, save seeds for the following season. They spent an estimated $10 million a year on so-called seed police to investigate farmers, and they sued over 400 small family farms for patent infringement. Here's where it gets interesting. A Canadian farmer named Percy Schmeiser was sued by Monsanto. The company claimed he illegally planted their patented canola seeds, that the seeds had blown onto his land from a neighboring farm. He did not plant them. He had no contract with Monsanto. The case went to the Canadian Supreme Court. Don't get me wrong, intellectual property has a place, but when a seed blows across a fence and becomes a lawsuit, you have gone from protecting innovation to controlling the fundamental act of farming.
They are simply telling us to our face. If you don't hear it, it's because you choose not to. Listen to this.
There's a cognizance, I believe, within the intelligence community, particularly CIA, that there are humans among us that might be more extraterrestrial than human. And how do you identify them? That could be a major factor. Absolutely. Why we're interested in that. And there's also the, I guess you would call contact tracing of like who's who. Right. And so what they did reveal that there was an interest in certain families. How would you understand families? I understand families to mean bloodlines. Right. That they were interested in certain bloodlines going back to ancient times. Who knows? Ancient times. Did they mention other heritages around the planet that through this marker? I was specifically told that the Cherokee heritage, the Cherokee Nation, had something to do with the phenomenon. And furthermore, that it has something to do with perhaps even the actual existence of Atlantis. Oh. That they may have been survivors of Atlantis.
Looks like we have our reason on what he was actually searching for. Cherokee, huh? I mean, this would explain a lot. They've been searching. This is not new. Just new to us. Atlanteans? That's why they was looking for America, huh? That's why the old structures can't be recreated. Temporary mind. Just kidding, y'all. This video is only for entertainment purposes. But make sure to like and comment and let me know your thoughts.
All my Cherokee seekers, man, stand up, bro. We all going to Atlantis, man, this summer, bro. That's crazy. He was talking about the bloodlines things. I thought he was talking about, you know, how we found out they was using 23andMe to see if anybody's bloodline has alien ancestry. So I thought they was connecting those two dots together, but he's saying the Cherokee people are coming from Atlantis. Interesting.
Y'all tell me why I'm in Five Below and my daughter's like, ooh, look. And I'm like, girl, we are not getting that. No way. Look how they tried to dress it up and make it all pretty. Nuh-uh. And a Ouija board is still in a Ouija board. I can't believe they didn't set this out here, y'all. They are promoting this to the kids. Just casually have it sitting outside of the kids' out. That's crazy.
Are you ready for the zombie apocalypse? Well, the United States government is.
The plan to deal with the zombie apocalypse. Foreign Policy reports the unclassified document explains how to respond to many kinds of walking dead, including chicken zombies. The Pentagon says the plan is an in-house training tool to teach students how to deal with widespread national emergency.
Chicken zombie? Even I can beat up a chicken zombie. Shabadoo!
What was captured flying by after the Edwards Air Force Base B-52 crash? Watch this thing disappear at the end.
Okay. It's moving.
We all seen the crash and what happened, but what is this that comes behind it? What is this red metallic looking object spinning, traveling at high rates of speed right around the same area of the accident? Who knows what this is? Leave it in the comments.
Or
WWE wrestler Danhausen, who uncursed the Knicks. And apparently after he uncursed the Knicks, you guys won every single game. Jalen, I know that you are a WWE fan. Did this have something to do with it as well?
At first, I was a little skeptical, but I mean, you have to believe it now.
Okay, yeah, now you gotta believe it.
You have to believe it now.
It did work.
This should be all the proof that you need on how rigged all of this stuff is, on how scripted all of this stuff is, because, again, why are they continuing to promote a WWE wrestler when it comes to professional sports? Why are they continuing to mention how Danhausen uncursed the Knicks and that's how they won their championship? I mean, come on. They are laughing at each and every one of you at this point with all of the things they continue to do, because the NBA is showing you that they are no different than the WWE. This is why they are promoting a WWE wrestler like this and talking about how Jalen Brunson is a big WWE fan. I mean, he's even been on WWE television before. All of this stuff is scripted.
I remember seeing that post that wrestler made. I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. But I didn't even clock that they won every single game after that, bro. So that's even weirder, man. Did they legit win every single game after he uncursed them, bro? What type of curse was on the Knicks then, man? Was that part of the script, bro? He uncursing them, man, and they won? That's some UFO activity.
Claims that elites, they're obsessed with trying to master the secrets of the universe, or pretty much uncover what everything means. Yeah, right? When you're that rich and you're a billionaire, I think that's the only thing left. Yeah, honestly. So they're trying to map out and understand the occult, the spiritual realm, extraterrestrials, everything about the universe. Yeah. Trying to figure out what more to life there is, right? My theory is immortality. They're trying to find immortality. They're trying to find immortality, but also I think they discovered that because they've done so evil that they're doomed to hell. Oh wow. So they might as well just try to go out to take everybody else with them. Yeah. Because that's what the devil would do, right? Oh my. If you think if you were in that position, done like vile, evil, Epstein level, because if they're doomed to hell, what's their other options? They're forever out here, I guess.
So CERN is set to close down on June 29th, 2026. Okay.
Again.
It'll be shut down for 4 years until June of 2030. So that's fun. you know, especially given that they're building a new one, which is like 10 times the size of the current one, something like that.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Where?
In I'll show you. We'll pull it up in a second. So the last time it shut down was between 2018 and 2022.
That was a fun time for us all, wasn't it?
Listen, I didn't think that there was any like unrest around the world at all, right? There's zero doubt that between now and 2030, the entire world will be radically changed. That's for absolute sure.
I have goosebumps.
And this is all happening as AI emerges as this thing that is going to literally completely change the whole world. You got to ask yourself, doesn't it feel like that all kind of came out of nowhere? You know what I mean? You're like, I mean, I know they've been talking about AI, whatever.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's like,
It just like popped up one day and it's like, oh, ChatGPT's here. Here
and
you go.
The most evil man in the music industry, considered the Jeffrey of the music industry, Clive Davis, who was also Diddy's mentor, has passed away at 94. He dominated the music industry. For instance, he found Whitney Houston, which is real interesting considered what happened with her unaliving, allegedly. Go look up her last interview with him, it's telling. But the big one, he found Sean Combs, dear old Diddy, and he mentored him, and he taught him everything about the music business and how to control everything, allegedly. And that's not all. He was the CEO and founder of Bad Boy Records. And guess who else founded it with him? Good old Clive. Clive gave him all the tools, and allegedly, Diddy, part of why he did what he did was to get intel, all these parties and things, so he could have tapes over everybody. And guess who his boss was, allegedly, that he gave all this information to, which allegedly kept these two creeps in power for way too long at the top of the field and held secrets on everybody, all while they're doing stuff in the background.
This man is about to jump from space. If anything goes wrong, nobody can save him. Felix Baumgartner is standing more than 24 miles above Earth, inside a small capsule, hanging from a giant balloon. At this altitude, the air is so thin that one mistake could be fatal. But in a few seconds, he is going to open the door and step into the void. Millions of people are watching live as he jumps. Within seconds, his body starts falling faster and faster until he reaches more than 800 miles per hour, becoming the first human to break the sound barrier in free fall. But suddenly something goes wrong. Felix begins spinning out of control at terrifying speed. The faster he rotates, the higher the risk of losing consciousness. For several seconds, nobody knows if he will be able to stabilize himself. The team on the ground can do nothing. If he fails to regain control, the mission could turn into a disaster in front of the entire world. Then somehow, Felix manages to stop the spin, stabilize his body, and open his parachute. In 2012, his jump became one of the most insane records ever achieved. But for a few seconds, the world thought they were watching a man fall from space to his death.
I don't know if anybody broke that record currently, man, but he's a brave soul, man. Attempting that from space, bro. I don't care how much money you pay me, man. That's a no for me. I would never do that.
Scientists have just found that the San Andreas fault line is under the most pressure that it's ever been in, and it is now lined up with a second fault line right next to LA that could rip open at the exact same time. So they actually built a model of the last 1,000 years of earthquakes on this fault line, and the stress on it right now is about a quarter higher than the worst it's ever been. Okay. They're also saying that there's one spot right near LA where the San Andreas and a second fault line called the San Jacinto basically meet, and scientists are calling it an earthquake gate. So that's cool. They're saying that whenever both fault lines are stressed to the same level, that gate can open and let a rupture jump from one fault line straight onto the other.
New this morning, researchers in Hawaii say 2 of California's fault lines have hit or gone beyond their highest stress levels in the past 1,000 years.
So obviously we see the problem. But happening right now, they're saying that both fault lines are loaded to almost the exact same point, so they could rip together or even all at once across 3 different branches. The last big one that happened in 1857 tore over 200 miles, but it stopped right at that gate. This time, if it were to happen again, the area it would hit is packed with millions of people. The one thing that scientists cannot tell us right now is when, because earthquakes can still not be predicted.
Bro, did y'all see that San Andreas movie that came out with Dwayne Johnson? That came out like 2012, I think, man. So if that happens, bro, did the movie predict it, bro? Once again, They putting it in front of our faces in the media, man. People not paying attention.
First of all, for my benefit and your benefit, I just want to rebuke that. For those who are not familiar with what backmasking is, it's similar to the imagery we see, the things that they put in films subliminally that sit there and your subconscious mind picks up on it. You don't see it, but your mind picks it up. This is the same. You don't hear it, but your mind picks it up. Now, some people will say it's a coincidence and it's not purposely or intentionally done by the artist. But just look at the images they've used in the video. Very strange, very creepy. Make of it as you want. I'm only here to just point it out.
That was creepy. World Cup.
All of these people are in a secret society and the membership just leaked. And look who's in here. Cory Booker, Jared Kushner, Ted Cruz, Elon Musk, and many, many more. Hackers obtained the secret membership list of Peter Thiel's club, Dialogue. And while this doesn't touch the old school rivals, Bilderberg Group, and of course Bohemian Grove, we are talking about 200 plus of the world's most influential new school luminaries. The technoligarchs and the broligarchs, and they have secret invite-only retreats where they do organized talks with names like Money Does Buy Happiness, Surviving World War III, and of course, but this guy right here, Representative Jim Himes, is the ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee, which oversees the agencies that Palantir has contracts with. He's also in Peter Thiel's private club, along with John Lonsdale, the co-founder of Palantir. Palantir's software runs case management for Trump's federal police force. Right now, one of Trump's federal government spying programs is up for renewal, and Jim Himes is the key guy in that discussion. At one point, he even tried to get everyone to vote for a version of this program that did not include warrants to search and arrest Americans. You see Democrats and Republicans alike selling you out. This type of thing makes way more sense when we say it's a big club and your these blessings.
You heard about this Lily Torrance case?
No, what is that?
Oh my God, you haven't heard about this?
No.
Okay, so there's this weird account on TikTok called I'm Sorry Lily Torrance.
What?
And it's posting these terrifying videos.
I'm not scared of feeling ugly. I am scared of being lonely. But when I'm alone, I make things to fill that hole, and then I feel smarter and I feel better.
There's one of this girl talking and it says, why do all people that go missing look the same?
Instructions just say to look into the camera and hold it for 30 seconds. So I'm starting that now.
I don't understand what is going on. Nobody knows. Some people think that it's like a marketing ploy for a new movie that's about to come out. Some people think that it's like an actual missing person. They posted a video that shows like a missing poster from someone named Lily Torrance that went missing in 2008. Some people think it's a real missing person and someone is trying to like give hints about who they vanished. Nobody really knows what it is, but it is absolutely taking over TikTok right now.
See nothing wrong with Lily Gallus posting that Candace Owens passed away. We already know that Candace Owens rubbed a lot of big names the wrong way. And just randomly, Lily Gallus had something like this posted on her ex. Mind you, she's hinting at the fact that her ex account might have been hacked. But I want you to read what this says right here. I'm gonna move out your way. Candace Owens' family reached out to me earlier this morning. It is with deep sadness and sorrow that I am sharing the passing of my longtime friend and fellow political commentator, Candace. I need you to tell me how this sounds to you. I need you to go back to right before that person passed. The person that she named. And that person said the same exact thing as Candace. Now I'm gonna ask you again. Even if the account was hacked, why would somebody post something like this about Candace Owens? What I will say is this. We know that from the moment that Candace has been covering that case, a lot of people are afraid. And when people get afraid, you know what happens, right? Hopefully none of this plays out the way Lily Gallus says. I'm out.
And nobody really
Scary.
wants a data center in their backyard. I don't want a data center in my backyard. So you do get a lot of pushback, and you need buy-in from the community because you have to get permits to do that work. And you have government officials that they are elected by the community. They certainly want to make their constituents happy. And so you in turn have to make their constituents happy so that you can still get your permit and you can still operate there. Data centers, once they are operational, don't bring a lot of jobs. They do on the construction side, but you're not really getting a ton of that community benefit from having a data center really, truly in your backyard.
I didn't even finish this creator's video because I had to stop. Apparently, that phenomena that you see, have you guys ever, oh my god, remote viewing is the same thing as when that happens that you see with your eyes closed. Does that not happen to anyone else when you're sleeping at night and you wake up but you're not awake and you're looking through the room and then you do wake up and you open your eyes and you're like, how was I just looking at everything? Okay, my mind is blown, that's all.
Oliver.
Has that happened to you guys, seekers, man? You guys woke up, you couldn't move, and you felt like somebody was seeing through you? Had to like cover your eyes or something like that? That's it. That never happened to me, man, so it's my first time hearing that type of phenomenon.
Tree is Rob Deerdick. What if I told you this? Are you ready for this rabbit hole? Because when you actually begin to look at both of these individuals, they do look eerily similar to one another. But maybe all of this is just one big coincidence. Or maybe there is something more going on here than meets the eye. But you have to admit, when you actually begin to examine both of these quote unquote individuals, different people, they look more and more alike. It is truly very bizarre. You have to admit this. And again, they even have a connection via gematria because both of their names in the reverse cipher in gematria add up to 141. So you tell me what is going on here. But from my vantage point and from my viewpoint, it really looks as if these people are one and they are the same. But maybe this is all just one big coincidence.
If y'all ain't noticed, they harvesting energy right now. They got the NBA Finals. They got the FIFA Cup. They had Child Case last week. Now they got Carmelo Case. Listen, it's all about energy, and they harvesting a lot of it right now. Yeah, make it make sense. I'm telling you, that's what's going on. When you get on social media, everybody is against each other. Where y'all think that energy going? Where do you think that energy going, man? I'm telling you, it's summertime. So they got to harvest all the energy before they go back and hibernate. See, y'all ain't getting it. They throwing everything at us. Like FIFA Cup, the NBA Finals, everything is all at once. Y'all, they are energy harvesting, man. I'm telling you. To the people who've noticed, hats off to you. But that's what's going on. Yeah, y'all, everybody's emotions is going crazy. Everybody's egos is running rampant. They harvesting all of that energy. Get in the comments and let me know what you think, y'all. That's what's going on.
Yeah, I heard energy harvesting, bro. I mean, he was right. The NBA Finals, they had the FIFA World Cup, man, on all those symbolism. And like I have noticed, man, you post, bro, everybody freaking social media, man, is freaking like miserable, bro. All they want to do is freaking just post rage bait, or just post their life just to make it seem like they're living their best life. When guys don't know, man, the social media stuff is, well, some people do know, man. Especially I know the Seekers, man. This one big facade, bro. It's all edited, bro. You can post whatever you want on the internet to make it seem like you're living the best life, but behind the scenes, you're just going through the same thing like everybody else is, man. So that I definitely believe, man, that they are energy harvesting, bro, out here. She's noticing a pattern.
All these celebrities had been hiding the real reason behind their change in appearance, and everything we thought about this is actually wrong. It's becoming more and more shocking, and you've noticed it too. They're all getting extremely thin. I'm not talking naturally or progressively. It's like overnight they became unrecognizable. The worst part is it's not one or two people. It's a pattern that keeps repeating over and over. Look at Ariana Grande and compare how she looked a few years ago to now. Alexa Demi, same thing. One day she had one face, the next day it was a completely different one. Not to mention Cynthia Erivo, Demi Moore, Nicole Kidman, and even more recently Dixie D'Amelio. They all went through the same kind of transformation. Extreme weight loss, facial features that change, a different look in their eyes, and every single time it happens at the same point in their career, when they reach a new level. That's where it gets strange. In this industry, everyone knows that the higher you go, the more is asked of you. Not just in their music or their acting, but especially physically. As if to access a certain circle, you had to go through a transformation. The most disturbing part is that nobody around them says anything. Their teams, their close ones, everyone acts like it's normal, like losing half your body weight in a few weeks is just a lifestyle choice. So either all these women decided to change at the same time by pure coincidence, or there's something they're being asked to do to stay where they are. Are they still the ones deciding, or is someone else deciding for them?
Yup, human hair is not only being found rapidly growing out of reborn dolls, but these dolls are forming heartbeats inside their chests, and they might be starting to wake up now. People were terrified after viral videos showed inanimate dolls starting to grow human hair that did not match anyone the owners knew, with the doll being completely bald when they first bought it, and people are now saying whatever is inside these dolls is trying to come out. Haunting reports show a reborn doll was forcibly removed and taken to the same museum that locked the Annabelle doll away, a doll that was not classified as haunted but as demonic, with people claiming the reborn doll's hair is growing faster than it should and it has not stopped since it has arrived. But it gets darker as some are reporting the reborn dolls started breathing in the middle of the night, with many warning that they might not only be alive, but what is breathing inside was never human.
No, that baby hair was not like that. That baby hair was smooth, clean, bald, and all of a sudden it had little like black specks, like little black ants.
While many believe they were possessed, experts say it's fiber displacement, hair that was already inside slowly pushing through.
I'm not believing that for a second, bro. Get rid of those doll seekers. Please, man. We got freaking dolls going hair out here, man. Those dolls are possessed, bro. I'm calling it right now.
Was one of the best brokers on Wall Street, and it all started as a joke. Raven was a Hollywood chimp before accidentally becoming a Wall Street bro with a 213% annual return on her portfolio. In 1999, a financial website had her throw 10 darts at a board of public companies and bought whatever stock she hit. They thought it would be funny, but the joke got way too serious way too fast. Within 6 days, one of her picks was up 95%. By the end of the year, Raven had quadrupled the Dow Jones, outperformed 6,000 professionals, and became the 22nd top money manager in the US. Her picks were so profitable, they created the Monkey Index, so investors could copy her exact moves. Then the dot-com bubble burst, and the Monkey Index crashed with it.
Ah, look at this, man. This is exactly the type of stuff that they didn't want y'all to see. Why y'all think it's coming out now? Y'all, we used to create comic books out of stones, and even with the stone binders. During the Aztec and the Mayans, the Atlanteans, look at this.
Wow, so this is a stone book with stone binders. Absolutely incredible.
Look at the eye, Egyptian eye.
Look at these stone pages. This is something out of... Wow, look at the light language on this. Oh, wow. Flying ship here, flying ship, flying ship. Wow, this is incredible. This tells the story of that page. Oh, wow, look at this. This is like a comic book. It is. It's like an ancient comic book. Wow, look at that.
Look at this.
Nice.
Bro, we've been creating cosmic comic books. Why do these people have our stuff, man? Just give us our stuff back. Y'all, they really try to say our people was primitive, but how primitive do you really have to be to create a comic book out of stone? Man, we literally have been dumbed down on purpose, man. Once you have been colonized, the first thing that they do is disconnect you from your memory so you never realize what your ancestor or you did, because this is us. They made us forget what our people knew, what we built, and how advanced we really were. And what do? They replace it with jobs, debt, school, and basically a colonized vision, and we forget who we are and where we actually come from. But everything is lining up and everything is coming right back to us, y'all. I know y'all feel that. The memory's coming back, y'all. Let me know down in the comments that shit we see. Let's continue. Peace out.
might want to watch this video. On March 2023, Francis Zuber was skiing on Mount Baker in Washington when he randomly noticed a snowboard just laying on the snow. As he got closer to the snowboard, it began moving around, so he realized that there was someone stuck beneath the snow. The man trapped beneath 6 feet of snow was 40-year-old Ian Staker, who fell headfirst in a tree well. And a tree well is an area around the base of a tree that gets filled with snow, so if you happen to get yourself in there, it is difficult to get out. Ian was stuck beneath 6 feet of snow for about 10 minutes before Francis spotted him. Francis began removing the snow with a shovel that he had in his bag, and you can see in this video how much snow there was and how deep Ian was in there. Ian said that he was pretty sure he wasn't going to make it out on that day, especially because he had been under the snow for about 10 minutes already, and he knew that if he went over 15 minutes, he would suffocate. In fact, Ian would go on to say that one of his close friends passed away a couple of months earlier after he fell in a tree well on that same mountain. And what's absolutely incredible and what some people call a coincidence is that Francis, the man that saved his life, wasn't even supposed to be skiing on that side of the mountain on that day, and the only reason he was there was because he ran into some of his friends and decided to go skiing with them on that mountain.
These are this. Even fate seekers, man. Was it fated for him to be on that mountain that day? Like I said, to save that man. For that man, I think to be in a not falling that same exact tree well as his friend, but to even I guess snowball on that mountain after what happened to his friend. That was a sign right there. Sometimes you gotta pay attention to the sign seekers. You never know.
Strangest things found inside people's bodies. Part 7. In 1999, an Indian man became the world's first pregnant man, even though he was born a biological male. You see, one day, Sanju Bhagat was dealing with a swollen stomach and was having difficulty breathing. So he went to the doctor to get it checked out, where they discovered a large mass inside him. When they took him in for surgery, they found gallons of liquid inside his stomach and an underdeveloped fetus. This was because Sanju was once a twin and consumed the other sibling inside the mother's womb, but this wasn't discovered until this moment. Next, in 2003, a Japanese woman discovered a rare tumor inside her ovaries. It's called a teratoma, and it can grow muscles, hair, and even bones and teeth. However, this teratoma also developed limbs, eyes, and a brain. In other words, it had pretty much everything it needed to become a conscious creature on its own, which is terrifying. And lastly, in 2014, an Australian man named Dylan Thomas came home from a vacation in Bali when he discovered a painful red line going from his belly button up his torso. And after 3 days of pain, doctors discovered that there was a spider crawling under his skin. Apparently, Thomas had just had an appendectomy performed on him, and the spider somehow snuck its way into his skull. Yeah, have fun trying to sleep tonight.
Dirty facts about history that school probably didn't teach you, part 1. Famous poet Edgar Allan Poe married his 13-year-old step-cousin at the age of 27. What are you doing, Step Poe? There is a legal pee-pee size in Iceland, and this comes from the Middle Ages where a man and a woman got married, and on their wedding night, the woman was so disappointed with how small it was that she took him back to the church to get a divorce. And because of her, a law was made that requires you to be 3 inches to get married. During times of war, some armies would wipe their poop on their weapons so that when they stab their enemies, they get that extra poison damage. There are many letters between Benjamin Franklin and various women that suggest that he might have had a fart fetish. The person who wrote Frankenstein lost her virginity on the top of her mother's grave. Great writer, but terrible funeral manners.
Yeah, those facts are blowing my reality.
Animals discovered in 2024, part 1.
Firstly, I present to you the skeleton panda sea squirt that was recently discovered off the coast of Japan in 2024. These sea creatures can live up to 7 to 30 years, and scientists really aren't too sure why they look like this, but they named them skeleton panda sea squirts because they literally look like baby skeletons dressed up for Halloween. This is awesome. Next, breeders in the US have recently just created a new hybrid cat. Meet the XL bully cat, which is mixed with the Sphinx and Munchkin cat. However, governments are already saying that don't buy this cat due to its health problems by not having any hair and short legs. Yeah, I was not expecting this in 2024. Finally, in June, researchers found a new species of piranha-like fish, which looks like this right here. and they decided to name this fish Sauron, after Lord of the Rings, because these researchers seriously believe it looks just like it. And I mean, they're not really wrong.
Isn't that scary to think about, Seekers, man? Like, we still discovering new animals, new breeds in the oceans. That goes to show you how vast the ocean is, man. And if you really put it into context, it's the year 2024 and we still discovering new things about the ocean. It makes you wonder what else is lurking down there, man. That's why I don't be ruling out mermaids and sirens and things like that when I be watching this with you guys, because you truly never know.
Here are some dirty history facts I can guarantee you were never taught, part 2. If you ever told your history teacher any of these, they definitely go, what the fuck? According to private investigator Fred Stash, JFK was apparently a one-pump wonder, if you know what I mean. Ladies, for this one, I'm so sorry. For birth control, the Egyptian used a mix of ingredients, specifically 2, which included crocodile poop mixed with honey, and they would put it, yeah. Next, large eggplants, if you know what I mean, on the males of ancient Greece, were actually a sign of stupidity. Hence why all the statues have small ones, as it's actually a sign of being an intellect. Fuck! Stories go that King Tut was actually excited when he was mummified. That is definitely what I call a 2,000-year-old happy sleep. And finally, the whoopee cushion, revolutionary in today's society. But it actually dates back to the 14-year-old Roman Empire Elagabalus, when his whole legacy became inventing the whoopee cushion and pranking his dinner guests. Legend.
True prank legend, bro. Clap it up for him.
These are dirty animal facts you wish you never knew about, part 3. Up first, petting birds actually turns them on. They will start panting and shaking, and sometimes even puke on you. So the next chance you get to pet a bird, you might want to think twice about doing it. Next up, frogs sometimes might make a home out of elephant's poop. They do this because it provides shelter from the sun, and all the bugs crawling around in it make for an easy quick snack for the frog. This is absolutely disgusting, and it kind of ruined my day. Next up, several species of birds keep cool by pooping on themselves. It's called heroijosis, and it's how some birds like storks, condors, flamingos, and vultures keep cool. It seems to do the same thing as sweating, except that instead of sweat, these birds dribble poop down their legs.
Hey, man. There's something new every day. Birds poop on themselves to keep themselves cool. He said 7 species. You're gonna have to look that up, because I never do that.
And they didn't get a scientific name for hundreds of years, literally because the sailors traveling with them kept eating them before they made it back to London. So the giant tortoise population in Hispaniola Island was down ghastly. We're talking 12 females and 2 males away from getting discontinued permanently. That wasn't until they found a 3rd male, Diego. Diego peeped the census and knew what time it was. He locked in. They said, go Diego, go, and he came and went, and came, and went, and came, and then went.
Okay.
3 males were brought into the breeding program to try to save the species, and Diego proceeded to score a career high in spreading thighs. More rounds than Nick's cannon, the shell hefner got so active that he spawned over 900 children and fathered 40% of the turtles born in the breeding program. Immortalizing him as a tortoise that laid so much pipe, he carried the species. But there's something I didn't tell you. I said there were 3 males, but it was really Diego and friend, because turtle number 3 literally couldn't get laid if his species depended on it. Who is more interested in Diego? But speaking of Diego, remember, I said 40%. That means turtle number 2 put in more work than he did. That turtle was E5, and I'm not a mathematologist, but numbers say he contributed 60%. But apparently, because Diego was a bigger and louder personality, he stole all the clout. Being named E5 probably didn't help. Either way, the turtle tag team saved their entire species, which now has more than 2,300 on the island. And both tortoises have since retired, and were returned back to Hispaniola to live with their turtle progeny, almost 80 years after they were first recruited. Moral of the story? Closed mouths don't get fed, especially when you're named after one of Elon's kids.
Putting up freaking numbers, bro. They carried into these species, man. They saved them all. Tag team too, bro.
Was Buddha considered a Christian saint? The Eastern Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church both honor 2 saints named Balaam and Josaphat. On closer inspection, the story of this Indian prince, Josaphat, appears strikingly similar to the life of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. But how did this come to be? Well, the story originates from an early Christian adaptation of Siddhartha Gautama's life. As Buddhism traveled through Central Asia, its teachings spread along the trade routes to the Middle East. Here it was adapted into other belief systems like Manichaeism, In the 8th century, Islamic scholars translated a Buddha biography into Arabic as Kitab Bilawar wa Buddhasaf, which means the Book of Bilawar and Buddhasaf. By the 11th century, it was translated into Greek, where it became known as Barlam and Josaphat. This adaptation recast the Buddha story into a Christian moral tale, with Josaphat as a prince who renounces wealth after guidance from Barlam, a Christian hermit. This version aligned with the Christian teachings on renunciation and devotion.
Artifact porn, part 30. This is an ancient burial mound in Marathon, Greece, that contains the ashes of 192 Athenians who perished in the Battle of Marathon more than 2,500 years ago. It's an extremely rare surviving piece of Tyrian purple dye that was found in the remains of an ancient Roman bathhouse. The color was used to create the famed purple clothing of Roman emperors and was extremely difficult to make. Just 1 ounce of Tyrian dye took 250,000 snails to produce, as it was said to be worth more than 3 times its weight in gold. These photos show the incredible evolution of ancient Greek statues over the span of just a few hundred years. Just this past summer, a tourist at a beach in Bulgaria noticed a beach bar table that looked considerably old. Law enforcement soon called in some archaeologists who eventually identified the item as a 1,700-year-old ancient Roman sarcophagus. Information about the artifact's history and how it ended up on a beach resort remain unclear.
That's the true question. How did it end up there?
You know the chilling child abduction story behind the Amber Alert system?
No.
It was January the 13th, 1996 in Arlington, Texas. Amber Hagerman was just 9 years old. She'd been biking around the area near to her nan's house with her 5-year-old brother Ricky. She had a new bike that she'd been given for Christmas, so she was really enjoying playing on it. Now the pair were cycling up and down. They weren't going too far, but it was obviously a different time back then, and children used to just play freely outside. However, within seconds, this innocent bike ride would turn deadly. Ricky told his family later that he saw his sister bike into a car park and then vanish. Another eyewitness from the scene saw much more than that. A man in his 70s reported seeing the child get grabbed by a man in a black truck. The man looked in his 20s or 30s, according to the witness. The witness then obviously promptly phoned police. Despite a big search for the little girl, they had absolutely no idea where she'd gone. They kept hunting and found nothing until a dog walker stumbled upon something horrific 4 days later. Tragically, in a nearby creek was little Amber's body. She'd been stripped and her throat cut by either a knife or a screwdriver. Her body was found less than 5 miles away from where she was snatched. Now, police desperately searched for leads but came up with absolutely nothing. The local community were really anxious to try and do something to help. In the absence of being able to track down Amber's killer, a local woman, Diane Simone, rang into a local radio station. She wondered if a national alert system could be created to send information to people about missing children, like they do for severe weather warnings. With that, the AMBER system was born. The acronym stood for America's Missing Broadcast Emergency Response. Tragically, Amber's murder still remains unsolved 28 years later. However, the Amber Alert created in her honor has gone on to save many more children who may have otherwise ended up dead.
2024 just got even crazier. Part 17.
Firstly, just recently, while a tourist was at a beach bar in Bulgaria, he noticed that the table they were using looked odd. And it looked so odd, he called the authorities. Well, it turned out they were actually using a 1,700-year-old Roman coffin as a table. Yeah, the table was then taken away by the authorities, and my question is, how did they even come across this ancient artifact? Next, Mountain Dew just announced that they are changing their logo back to their similar retro style on all of their products by 2025. You know, this is one of the first logo changes I actually like. Finally, just a couple weeks ago, the world's fattest cat, named Crumbs, who was 38 pounds, was sent to a fat camp to help Crumbs lose weight. Well, unfortunately, the fat camp was just too much for Crumbs, and Crumbs died after just weeks of being at the fat camp. R.I.P. Crumbs. What did they do to you?
R.P. Crumbs, man, down below, bro. How he get sent to a fat camp? He's supposed to lose weight, not lose everything, man. That's crazy.
Crazy tech facts you won't believe. Google rents goats to mow their lawns instead of machines. Over 90% of the world's currency only exists in digital form. The first computer virus was created in 1983. The first camera took 8 hours to capture a single photo. Can you believe we used to wait 8 hours for a single photo? Now with Send It, you can create AI images of yourself in seconds. It turns your Ask Me Anything answers into AI pictures. Someone asked me where I'd love to travel to, and Send It made this. You have to try this out, download Send It, and unlock your AI clone. Things that have been banned across the world, Part 3. Japan made obesity illegal in 2008. Iceland made strip clubs illegal in 2010. China made time travel illegal in 2011. Blue jeans have been banned in North Korea since 2010.
Blue Jeans, man. Don't they have, like, I'm about to say, isn't it a music group named Blue Jeans? The reason I know that's because, you know, FaZe Jason, bro, he blew up the freaking TikTok that went viral with the Blue Jeans song, so. But they freaking banned Blue Jeans in 2010. Time travel in China 2011. What they hiding from us, bro? And obesity's illegal in Japan. That's crazy that they made obesity illegal, bro.
18-year-old girl named Donna lived with her father, and ever since her mother died, she depended on her father for everything. One day, Donna's father left for a business trip and said he wouldn't be back until later that night. Later that day, Donna got home from school and watched TV, and when the clock struck midnight, she noticed her father wasn't back, so she went to bed. That night, Donna had a dream where she was standing on a busy highway. She then saw her father trying to yell something to her. She couldn't hear him, but noticed he looked sad and was desperately trying to communicate with her. She could barely make out what he was saying, but it sounded like, "Don't open the door." Donna then woke up to someone ringing the doorbell. She then went to the door and looked through the peephole and saw her father's face outside. He was staring right at her and the doorbell was still ringing. She was about to open the door when she looked through the peephole again and noticed her father's eyes were wide open and he looked terrified. The doorbell then continued ringing as Donna begged her dad to answer her. She then yelled, "I'm not opening the door until you answer me." The doorbell kept ringing, but her father refused to answer her. Donna then sat in the corner next to the door crying and listening to the doorbell ringing. She then fell asleep and woke up in the morning. She then got up and looked through the peephole and her father was still there. She then opened the door and saw something truly horrifying. Her father's severed head was hanging from a nail above the door and there was a note attached to the doorbell that said, "Clever girl."
Don't open that door, man, unless you hear a response. That's the moral of the story, that what I took from it. You never know who's lurking. That's an edit, bro. We see through that.
Will blow your mind. In a world's first, researchers at Osmo Labs have achieved the teleportation of smell. I mean, do you realize how crazy that is? Let me put it this way. So, as of right now, humans have only figured out how to teleport two of our senses. Sound, you know, with the telephone or speakers, and images with the screens that we look at all day. And we've done that because we've discovered a way to capture those senses digitally and then turn them into data that we can then send instantly. But now, they've managed to do that with smell. So hypothetically, once they're able to replicate this process on machines outside of the lab, not only one day could you send someone a smell like you send them an image or a voice note. Oh my lord, the businesses that are going to come out of that one, I'll let the comments handle that. But also, and here's the craziest part, they say that by digitizing scent, they've effectively given computers a new sense. You better wake up in 2030 and your iPhone's going to tell you stink. Go get a shower. Now the first smell they ever digitized was fresh plum. They captured the scent molecules in a digital format and then reprinted the exact same smell on the other side of the room, which came out looking like a regular clear liquid. And I guess that begs the question, what's going to happen to all of these expensive colognes once you can immediately reproduce them? Osmo Labs CEO on Twitter said, "Holy moly, I am still processing the magnitude of what we've done."
19-year-old woman whose body was found burnt inside one of these walk-in ovens in Walmart. Let's hear what the employees have to say about all of this.
Okay, these ovens are so hard to shut from the outside. You have to push them. I'll show you.
Okay.
See that? You have to push it to click it. Now, watch me go in. Both sides. You can touch both sides. You scrape the floor. You have to clean the floor all the time. There's
Alright. Not closing.
This is one of the good ovens I've worked with. I've worked with 7 different stores over the 8 years. There are stores where they don't even latch. You have to hold it shut while it bakes for 30 minutes. There are stores where it pops open. You have to shut it, pops open, shut it, pops open, shut it. There is no way that this girl locked herself into one of these ovens while cleaning it. No way possible. There's no way possible. Let me just show you the emergency button.
Emergency button 2?
Pops the door open. Pops the door open. In my opinion, there's no way she did that on her own.
So I've been seeing plenty of these videos where Walmart employees are showing us how these walk-in ovens work. But just to be clear, all the ovens in these Walmarts, depending on the location, are a bit different. They're not identical, but a lot of the features are almost the same. Something I consistently hear from the Walmart employees is that the door does not close on its own. Unless you try to close it with a lot of force, it doesn't just close and lock. There's also this inside the door, so if anyone was to get stuck, they can just easily open it and get out. Every video that I've watched created by a Walmart employee who works with these walk-in ovens insinuate that this young woman did not get stuck and that something else happened.
What do you guys think? Something else happened?
By growing brains in a jar and connecting them to a computer made from stem cells that were stimulated in a special way to form neural tissue, which grew and eventually formed structures and even brainwave activity similar to that of a premature human baby. They then hooked up this brain into a computer, connecting it into a virtual world where it learned to play Pong completely from scratch. I want you to realize what this means. Like, this isn't a computer bot that was pre-programmed to know exactly how to play the game. That's easy. It's an organic brain that they grew themselves that was given Pong with no instructions, and it just taught itself how to play. Which is honestly nothing new. That's just AI. But this is organic AI, which happens to learn quicker and is also more energy efficient than traditional AI. It learned to play Pong in about 10 to 15 rallies, when a regular computer AI would take around 5,000. Albeit the computer AI can simulate those 5,000 rallies much quicker, but that takes a lot more computing power, which is sort of our main bottleneck with AI at the moment. Energy. This is organoid intelligence. Take human brain cells, grow them in a petri dish, and then use computers to train them just like AI. Naturally, there are ethical concerns rising as there is surmounting evidence showing us that these are conscious, like a human. Even the scientists working on it themselves admit these organoids are sentient. They took it a step further and tested out these organoid brains inside real physical robots, feeding them the sensory input of everything the robot experiences. And since the computer chip running it is organic brain matter, this technically, by definition, is a cyborg. Then there are companies like Final Spark that let you rent server space on these organoid brains, which essentially act like organic CPUs. You can even see live streams of the brain computers you're renting out. And now this next part right here, what they're doing here might actually prove a simulation theory. So they have this virtual butterfly simulation that's controlled by the organoid brains, meaning the brains feel and experience everything the butterflies do. Again, the brains weren't trained or programmed how to be a butterfly. Just like they did with Pong, they were just fed the sensory feelings of being butterflies and kind of figured out themselves how to flap their wings and just exist. Much the same way you weren't pre-programmed to walk or talk. You experienced sensory inputs in the forms of sight, sounds, touch, and learned. Taught yourself along the way. This is an organic brain being fed computer data to make it believe it actually exists in a simulated world, and it's also likely sentient. This company essentially just created the Matrix for butterflies, and its consciousness is available for you to rent out. And when no one's using it, it still just continues to exist with no human interaction whatsoever. If the brains really are conscious, as the scientists suggest, they're not going to know they're this organoid computer brain in a lab hooked up to a virtual simulation. They're going to believe that they really are that butterfly. If that's the case, what's stopping all of us from being our own organoid brains in some lab in a different dimension? Meaning this, everything we see and experience right now is our own simulation that we've been plugged into, except we're not butterflies, we're humans. And everything we do, every decision we make is not by our own free will, but by some, I don't know, fifth dimensional entity renting server space in our brains. Just the same way the Final Spark neural platform lets us do. And when we sleep, maybe our idle brain computational power is used for other purposes, which we experience as dreams. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. You gotta sleep tonight. Are we really basically brain organoids existing in our own petri dishes, connected to and experiencing a fully virtual simulated world? Because we just pulled it off. And according to simulation theory, if we're capable of creating virtual simulated realities, then chances are we're already living in one.
You was spitting, bro. Gave me some new information, man. I'm definitely going to dive into, man. Are we in a reality, bro?
Gas station towns and cities set up. This might actually be a fake town / city set up by the elite. Why would there be cars parked at the gas pump and they have dust on them? So they've been there a while and nobody's around. As always, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Stay weird.
Shouldn't go through life any longer without knowing this. There was a 9-foot great white shark back in 2003 that was tagged by scientists. Just a couple of months after this, the tag was found by a beach 2.5 miles from where the shark was originally tagged. When they pulled the data from the tag, it showed that the great white abruptly dove to depths of 2,000 feet and lower, which means something else swallowed that 9-foot shark whole and went down to the bottom of the ocean. There was a man who hired his neighbor to impregnate his wife and then sued him after 72 failed attempts. He paid $2,500 for his neighbor. Okay. Tom Cruise has been blacklisted from buying a Bugatti. He's actually apparently been banned since 2006 because on the red carpet, he struggled to open the passenger side door in front of cameras, and that moment was everywhere. So now he's on a do not sell list for the entire company. That's kind of hilarious. Chris Hansen was on a podcast a couple of months ago and was asked the question, have you ever caught a female predator? And he said never.
Hey everybody, so we've got airports shutting down, pilots reporting mysterious glowing objects and radar signals vanishing into thin air. This is all happening in Turkey. They've been experiencing some bizarre UAP encounters lately. So check this out. Flights at Sabiha Gökçen Airport, sorry if I butchered that, in Istanbul were disrupted due to pilots reporting unidentified objects on their radar systems. These anomalies even triggered collision avoidance warnings, prompting extensive but inconclusive searches by authorities. Also, in a separate incident, a pilot near Gaziantep Airport, again, sorry if I butchered it, spotted a bright glowing object in the sky that wasn't visible on the radar. This sighting led to a temporary shutdown of the whole airport and a massive search operation, but the object vanished without a trace. So, while some are speculating these events obviously could be due to drone activity or atmospheric phenomena, no definitive explanations have been provided as of yet, and authorities continue to investigate to ensure aviation safety. Stay tuned for any updates. If I get some, I'll let you know.
So some problems going on around the Turkey airport. I've been seeing a lot more UAP videos, man, on TikTok, bro. So I don't know what it's about 2025, man. We see a whole lot of alien activity there, bro. Or if they unconfirmed it, man. We're going to dive deep into that rabbit hole one day. You got lizard people and the catacombs? Of course it's the Matrix. Just being blind to it. Got underground cities now too? Or is that connected to the catacombs?
Okay, everybody's noticing that 3I Atlas, the new interstellar comet, it doesn't have a tail. There is a reason, and here's why. So between October 1st and the 7th, the European Space Agency, which is the footage you're seeing here, its ExoMars and Mars Express orbiters tracked it from about 30 million kilometers away. That fuzzy glow that you see, that's the coma, which is gas and dust boiling off the object's icy surface. But there's no visible tail, obviously, at least in a traditional sense, because it's still too far from the sun for solar radiation to push out material off the comet. As 3I Atlas moves closer to the sun, and it's supposed to hit its nearest point on October 29th, heat and solar wind should technically ignite a full tail, which they're saying will stretch millions of kilometers, which is crazy.
If the nucleus survives that close pass, then we'll finally see that whole thing light up. 3I Atlas is only the third interstellar comet that's ever been found, and it might be older than our solar system itself, which is mind-blowing. And here's a fun little tidbit. Even capturing this faint blur was like spotting a phone on the moon. That's how dim it was. So anyway, the next time someone asks, why does this 3I Atlas not have a tail like a traditional comet, tell them it's still waking up. But when it does, we might be watching history form in real time. So it's technically still sleeping, but it's going to wake up.
When was the last time you saw Miley Cyrus? Why do I ask? Because she was featured in a Gucci ad, and she is now completely unrecognizable.
Another one?
If you haven't seen the photo, take a look at this. Who is that in the Gucci ad? Does that look like Miley Cyrus to you? This is not the Miley Cyrus I remember seeing on TV. Do you? What is going on with Miley Cyrus? This is the Miley Cyrus I'm used to seeing, and I'm sure many of you are. Take a look at this side by side. That's the Gucci ad. That's Miley Cyrus. What is going on with Miley Cyrus? So the question needs to be asked. Has Hollywood claimed another celebrity? This is the Miley Cyrus we're all used to seeing. So my question to you is, who is this Miley Cyrus? As I always say in all of my videos, I understand that people age and people can change.
Yeah.
But what is going on with Miley Cyrus? So I guess my question to you is, has Hollywood claimed another celebrity? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
New York is facing a serious problem right now. This year, the city has seen a very concerning rise in real-life subway surfing. You heard that right. In fact, just this past weekend, 2 teenage girls were found dead on top of a train at the Marcy Avenue station in Brooklyn. They were only 12 and 13 years old. Problem is, this isn't even the first time this has happened recently. 5 people have died this year alone as a result of similar incidents across the city. And while this has been around for decades, real-life subway surfing has far transcended just being a dangerous game or stunt, because now it's become one of the most deadly social media trends online. In fact, this video is allegedly of one of the girls just days before she died filming one of her stunts. And not only that, but according to New York officials, over 1,800 subway surfing videos have had to be removed from social media in just the first half of 2025. It's even reached the point where police are now deploying drones to try and spot these surfers before they get hurt. Thankfully, this has already led to over 200 rescues. But the question is, how do you even stop something like this before even more lives are taken?
Kris Jenner
has
reversed her aging process, y'all. Make sure you like and share. Look how she looked, y'all. She reversed her aging. Most likely she went under the knife, right? She showed no scars of it. You know what they be doing in Hollywood, though. I can't say too much. When is the last time she had a baby? How old is her oldest? No babies around, right? Y'all, she literally looked like she about 28, 30. And I'm just trying to figure out how. I need y'all to leave y'all thoughts in the comments on what do you think is really going on? What do you notice? This shit is crazy, fool. This is 2007. This is 2025. She really is pulling off the Benjamin Button. Fool, that don't even look like the same person. I'm not even gonna catch you. How do we know these the same people? Do we? Nigga, that's a miracle, fool. Like, even the chest area is different. I understand you can get makeovers on the face. But the chest? What? I need answers. Somebody let me know in the comments.
This world is officially cooked. They're saying that men don't need women to have babies anymore. You ain't just say what I just said, right? They're saying that they made a way for a man not to need a woman to have a baby anymore. And you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit. Listen to this shit right here.
A baby without a woman's DNA. American scientists have created
What are you doing?
human embryos by putting DNA from skin, into a donor egg. This new egg has just 22 chromosomes from the
What
skin
are y'all
cell,
doing?
and that can be fertilized by IVF with the 22 chromosomes from the sperm, making a full set.
A lot of y'all gonna jump on here and say the world is just advancing. I'ma say technology keeps finding a way to play with God. Mind you, scientists know, and they said already that this is unethical. And the embryos that they're making, they're destroying. So what are you doing? If you're destroying embryos, isn't the embryos that you destroy alike? So now I gotta ask myself, what's the end goal? Now ask yourself, is this a good thing or a bad thing? And then after you ask yourself that, ask yourself what would Jesus do? We're in a world where man continues to test his limits. You're not satisfied with anything that you've been blessed with. You have scientists trying to put our consciousness into robots so we can live forever. If we were supposed to live forever, don't you think God would have made that possible? Y'all keep playing. Keep playing, and you're going to find yourself in a wonderful space that you don't want to be in. I'm out.
Hold on, y'all.
Keep pushing the limit.
Of the 4 horses of the apocalypse a little concerning. Let's just go through them real quick. We have the white horse. There's the white horse who goes out conquering and to conquer. He has a crown on his head and he has a bow. There's the red horse, and he is coming to take peace from the earth with a sword, and it will be great violence and bloodshed and war. There's a black horse that symbolizes famine and hardship and economic collapse, and he carries a scale. Then there's the pale horse, which is a little green, that symbolizes death, and Hades follows behind it. They were given authority to kill through sword, pestilence, and all these different famines all over the earth. Now, did y'all notice something?
You know what else is under the authority of the crown?
What?
Disney World in Orlando, Florida.
What does that mean? How?
Ron DeSantis was trying to take away their self-governing, because Disney has always been like a self-governing entity within Florida, so they don't pay taxes, the taxes that major businesses and do stuff in Florida do. Like, they started getting into politics. Disney was like, if you're going to get into politics, let's get into politics. But Ron DeSantis lost that battle because it came out that Disney's like, hey, why don't you just read this piece of paper that we have? It says, we are under the Royal Family Clause, which basically means Disney World within Florida is technically owned by the royal family of England. How?
I don't know how that works either.
I don't know how they did it. They did some sort of exchange. I tried to do a ton of research.
Did they fund it? They would have had to have given the land to the crown, and now it's protected.
Yeah, they basically said the U.S. cannot tax what is the royal families.
Why? Why do they own U.S. land? Get out of here! Come on!
Baseball.
That's kind of crazy to think about. I'm gonna have to do some research on that, man. The royal family owns Disney World or Disneyland in Florida? That sounds like cap, bro. But if they do, that's some interesting rabbit hole that I need to go down.
So, the origins might be mine. How? What? Throwing it and hitting a bat? Everything about baseball is very related to the Freemasons. The diamond they play on is in what shape? It's in the same shape of the compass in the Freemason logo. Now, back this. What is the degree of that angle in that diamond? What is it? 33 degrees. Why? Because 33 is the highest level you can go in Freemasonry. No. Remember? The MLB baseball bats, they're 33 inches in length and 33 ounces in weight. Yes, fam. Also, the threads on the baseball itself, there's 33 on each line. Theory was they made it as homage to the Freemasons or whatever ritualistic things they want to get into. What's being talked about right now is how every sport references what god or what deity. What? Remember we were talking about the cowhead is named ball. Baseball. Think about that. Baseball. Basketball, man. Yeah. It might actually be something more than we think.
AI just perfected animation. Now animation studios have finally responded to Sora V2. So people have been using Sora V2 to make new episodes of animation shows, as well as being able to blend real life and animation shows together, as well as shows with 2 different animation styles, such as Hood SpongeBob, real life Gaku getting arrested. Somebody even made their own version of the show Attack of the Titans, a realistic Michael Jackson stealing fried chicken. And for those who don't know, Michael Jackson is not alive anymore, yet these videos look more realer than real life. But this is where it gets so much more worse. A lot of people love this because they're able to make their own version of their most favorite shows, where if you make it yourself, it can take literally minutes to do versus studios take over years, because a lot of people love AI art. However, now even more insaner, animation studios have finally clapped back to this, as Sora V2 has been using copyrighted characters such as SpongeBob and One Punch Man, and it's very odd that although no studio has made a public statement on this issue yet, as OpenAI has now given studios the option to opt out of their copyrighted image use. Do we need more AI laws?
I think there's something in the water, or there's something going on in the air right now, y'all. Because these type of videos I'm coming across where people are walking and running on all fours like it's normal are insane, y'all. And there is, it's like, what universe am I in? Y'all, there's even a Guinness Book of World Record for this now, man. A Japanese man ran 100 meters on all fours in under 15 seconds. Look at this man getting it on all fours in under 15 seconds, y'all. He was so happy.
What the hell?
You think I'm playing? This man right here specifically has been training his body for this. For the past 300 days, he has been going under an intense regimen, blood, sweat, and tears, just for this moment so he can run on all fours. Y'all check this out.
This is day 300 of walking on all fours every day. Heat was definitely a factor today, but since it's the last episode of season 10, I wanted to get outside and do something fun. I started off with some laps, and I still can't believe how much more smooth this looks and feels. I think I'm really starting to get the hang of it. I've been preparing to transition from running to all fours, so I gave that a try. The preparation I've done seems to have paid off because it went surprisingly well. It's crazy to think that in 2 more months I'll have been doing this for over a year.
Bro, this dude literally runs like Nightcrawler. Have y'all ever seen Nightcrawler on X-Men? That's exactly how he runs. And it doesn't stop there, y'all. There is a man who fully transitioned himself into a Dalmatian because his partner or his wife or his girlfriend lost her Dalmatian. This man bought a full synthetic suit. Now he's living the full life of a Dalmatian. This is crazy, y'all. Yo, let's continue to get...
Tonight is the case of Casey Anthony. Casey Anthony was a mom who lived in Orlando, Florida with her 10-year-old daughter. On July 15, 2008, Casey's mom called the cops because she said that her granddaughter had been missing for like 30 days.
For 30 days?
Okay, and that, yeah. So the cops interviewed her. She said that she was with her babysitter named Zanny Gonzalez. She said that they both worked together at Universal Studios and that she would take the cops there to meet the person, and it came out that she was lying. She never even had a job there. They ended up going through the back of her car and it smelled awful. They ended up finding her remains in a wooded area not too far from the house. This is where the story gets messed up. It was like 2 years later. Casey Anthony was in court. It seemed to be a slam dunk. They found the little girl's DNA in the trunk of the mom's car. She was found not guilty of the murder of her daughter.
How? The evidence was all there.
Let's take a look at this photo. This was pulled from the evidence archives of the Michigan State Homicide Unit. It is the only known photo we have of who was known as the Skinner. So in the early 70s, in a rural part of Michigan, something very strange was going on. It started out as just a very high number of women who were going missing in this county, but it would soon turn very dark. It was like for every one of these women that went missing, there was always an article of clothing found, as well as a severed foot. So after all of these months of investigating and questioning people, they eventually stumble upon this abandoned home in the county, and they would obtain a warrant to search it. Inside were all of the bodies of the women, every single one of them, and they had all been skinned alive. This place was littered with all of these Polaroids that this man had taken of everything he had done to these women, but he only took one photo of himself. This picture, as he's never been caught, and this is all we know of the Skinner.
The Skinner. That's a crazy name.
This is the most dangerous prisoner in the world, and you'll never believe why. A little girl named Shiloh was on her phone at night when she got a call from a mysterious number. And on that night, she didn't pick up the phone because her parents weren't home, and she didn't want to talk to any strangers. Thinking it might be one of her friends from school or her teacher, she picked up the phone. And when she picked up the phone, she heard a little girl's voice. The little girl told Shiloh to come to the park at night alone, and told her that she would play with her. Not knowing better, Shiloh decided to leave her house and walk to the park. The time was now 1 a.m. as Shiloh slowly started walking at night to the park. No one was around except her, and it was eerily quiet. Shiloh quickly realized that there was no one around her, so she freaked out and called the number back again. But this time, no one picked up. She was so scared she just wanted to see someone, so she decided to run to the park to see her friend that called. And that's when Shiloh's heart started beating really fast, because she heard a small car parked up behind her. And what happens next will absolutely shock you. If you want to know what happens, like and follow for part 2.
What happened to Shiloh, man? I gotta find it for you guys, Seekers.
This clown suit belonged to serial killer John Wayne Gacy. He would dress up as Pogo the Clown and perform for children at children's hospitals and other charitable events. It's eerie seeing these costumes in person. John Wayne Gacy murdered an estimated 33 boys and men, but his true victim count is still unknown. All of these items that I'm showing on screen belonged to John Wayne Gacy at one point, either inside or outside of prison, and it's absolutely eerie to be standing right in front of the killer clown himself. We're actually covering this story on our podcast Murder in America soon, and it's wild.
I couldn't be there, man. Bad energy.
They put Elvis on some insane diets to help combat with all the weight gain and health problems he was having. One was called the Sleeping Beauty diet. It's where you don't eat and you don't drink. You take pills that make you sleep for hours, so then you're not awake and hungry and need to eat. And once he had his doctor put him in a medically induced coma, so he would not be able to eat anything. And for some reason, this bitch complied. I know it was a different world back then, but like, oh my gosh. Throughout 1975, he refused to bathe. So man just like sat around, ate, and would not take a bath, and was gaining a ton of weight because of all of this. And this gave him a lot of sores on his body because he wouldn't bathe. Like, people need to bathe. The non-stop touring and the toll of his mother's death really took a decline on his mental and physical health. And obviously he was feeling bad about himself. Like, his face looks very different from when he looked like this heartthrob. And just being in the public eye in general is so stressful. His belly was bloated, he weighed so much, but his body didn't want to expand. It was something with his abdomen. I'm no doctor, and to be honest, everything I was reading I did not understand. But for some reason his abdomen did not want to make his stomach bigger, and his belly was so bloated. I mean, he struggled with a lot of constipation, and this ultimately led to his death. The next part of this video is in the playlist. Follow my TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for more content.
Imagine going to Disney World only to be followed by someone the entire time and not even know it. 17-year-old Madison Gaston received a notification on her phone that an Apple AirTag was following her the entire day. If you guys don't know what an Apple AirTag is, it's basically a mini tracking device used to find your personal items in case you lose them, such as your keys. So Madison received this creepy notification, and it stated that the AirTag was detected with her at 7:09 p.m., but she only received the notification at 11:33 p.m. When Madison clicked on the notification, a map appeared outlining every single place that she went to in the last 4 hours, so basically someone knew every move she was making. By the way, Madison was with her family, and when they saw this, they all panicked and emptied their bags and belongings in the parking lot, but they were still unable to find the AirTag. There's been a number of growing cases where women have reported AirTags following them, and this usually happens in places like Disney World or where kids or teens usually go. And unfortunately, a lot of criminals and predators are using AirTags to stalk people, steal cars, and even kidnap children. And just so you guys know, there are settings on your phone that allows you to get notifications if an AirTag is detected on you, so you might want to check that just to be safe.
Yeah, I need to turn that on immediately, bro. Those AirTags.
Just imagine capturing this on your Ring camera. It was 2018 and just outside of her condo in Phoenix, Arizona, when Jessica Catania got an alert on her phone and saw this. According to her eventual statement, she immediately realizes she's in danger. She locks her bedroom door, she starts dialing 911, but that's when she heard it. So whoever this man was, he then pries open the living room window and pops out the screen. He's in the house. But this woman, Jessica, she's like incredibly resourceful in a stressful situation. She immediately grabbed a hammer, any weapon that she could find from her closet, and she hides in her bathroom. But while she's waiting in there, she's got the door locked, but it would only be about 3 minutes before she eventually hears police inside her condo. But the problem is, they never found the man. To this day, she has no idea who this man was or why he broke into her condo. In the investigation, police would eventually nickname him Smiles.
He had a creepy smile for sure. She was smart to go in
Barbie
that
has a
bathroom.
much creepier history than I thought. I'm going to show you some theories about Barbie that have been keeping me up at night. And I cover all sorts of creepy and true crime stuff, so follow along. In 2010, Barbie released a doll that had a camera on her necklace as well as a video screen on her back. This doll has since been discontinued, but there's a lot of rumors about what happened to this footage when it was recorded. So people have always theorized that the footage was collected and sold either by Mattel or by someone more nefarious. And it's been mentioned how easy it would have been for hackers to collect and sell all this data. The FBI even put out a statement about it. Barbie also released and discontinued the Hello doll, which could listen to children and respond with over 8,000 pre-recorded answers. A lot of parents worried that these dolls were potentially recording their children and then selling that data, but this doll also has really concerning reviews. Like, people say that the doll won't take no for an answer. Like, if she asked if you wanted to hear a story and then you said no, she would actually push back and then just tell you the story anyways. And the doll would also ask really specific and targeted questions about children, like how big their families were and if they had any siblings. Was this doll just collecting market data on children, or was it something much weirder?
That sounds like an early version of AI. That's what I'm getting, man. That doll wasn't trying to take no for an answer. It was happening back in the day and we didn't even know it right in front of our eyes. They've been working on it for a while, haven't they?
Do y'all remember back in 2009 when this young woman got her face tattooed with 56 stars and tried to cover it up by telling one of the most outrageous lies I have ever heard? Welcome back, True-Crimers. That was a mouthful. This is the case of Kimberly Valmanak. Viewer discretion is advised. So, like I said, back in 2009, Kimberly came up with this very brilliant idea of getting 56 star tattoos on her face. No biggie, no problem. So she went ahead, went to a tattoo artist that she secured, and got her 56 star tattoos. Now, after she was done getting the tattoos, she panicked. She saw what it looked like, she wasn't expecting it, and some people even started calling her, quote, a freak. She was like, wow, I have to do something, I don't know what to do. Let me just do the normal thing, make up a lie my way out of this one. So Kimberly proceeded to go to several news outlets and say that she had, quote, fallen asleep while getting tattooed. And the tattoo artist basically took advantage of her by tattooing on more stars than she agreed to in the first place. And he simply did it because she was sleeping. My initial thought there was, who falls asleep during a tattoo? I myself have a tattoo. I mean, it's not like so painful, but it's definitely painful and you can definitely feel it. I don't really see anybody falling asleep during that, especially a tattoo on the face. I don't know. But in any event, that was the story she decided to run with, and she even tried to sue the tattoo artist and tattoo parlor, claiming that this was all their fault and that she didn't consent. Now, initially, people believed her. They were actually kind of supportive of her, but eventually she would come out and say she was flat lying. And the reason she lied is because she didn't want to look like a freak. She was worried people were going to judge her, say she was crazy, and just didn't want to associate with her. So she tried to lie her way out of it, but that ended up backfiring. Now, after all the hustle and bustle died down from that, Kimberly began some very painful and very expensive laser treatments. It took her over 3 years and 9 laser treatments, and she was able to go back to basically normal. Here's a picture of the before with all the tattoos, and a picture of after, and she's looking pretty great. She's looking just like how she looked before she got the tattoos.
Starry, that's what we'll call her, man. That's the nickname, Starry.
The true story behind the movie The Orphan. It's about a girl named Natalia Barnett.
Natalia Barnett was actually an orphan who suffered from dwarfism, and she was first adopted by a New Hampshire family in 2008. Because unfortunately the family didn't work out and she was put back into the system again. So that was her first family, so keep that in mind. About 2 years later, she was adopted by the Barnett family in 2010. Florida agency ended up contacting them. They ended up giving a phone call and be like, hey, I have, a child named Natalia. She's from Ukraine. I have her up for adoption. You guys have over 24 hours to decide if you guys want to adopt her or not. They flew out to Florida, they went to go meet her in a small office, and instantly, as Natalia saw them, she ran out to them and referred to them as mommy and daddy right away.
The Orphan. That's a big
back in like 1990s and early 2000s. Channel 5?
Yeah.
It was very popular in Mexico. It was like the Mexican Channel 5. They had a section where they did something called service to the community, and they would put a bunch of pictures of missing people, and they put a picture of Selene Delgado. And you've probably seen the picture before, and it turns out that it was a fake, like it was a hoax. She's not a missing person. Maybe she's a real person, but she's not missing. So people searched up in the records of missing people, and she was not on there. So they don't know why they put her on there, but it's weird because they put her normal picture, and after a while, her picture looked different. It was that picture, that exact picture on top of her face.
And that happened on the news?
Yeah, they faked that. I don't know why they faked that. I think they were trying to scare people. But the weird thing is that picture is linked to something else. It's basically linked to Derek Todd Lee, also known as the Baton Rouge serial killer, was an American serial killer between 1992 and 2003. Let's say a cop asks you, you're a witness, and the cop asks you, what did the person look like? Can you describe the suspect? Then a guy comes in, he sketches us out, and that was the sketch of Derek Todd Lee.
That's how he looked?
That's how they described him, as how he looked.
So why would they
This is the disappearance of Kevin McAllister. On December 22nd, 1990, the McAllister family of Chicago, Illinois packed themselves up for a vacation to Miami, Florida. A vacation that Father Peter McAllister was somehow able to afford as a day trader in Chicago? The suitcases were packed, the alarms were set, and the Pepsi was taken easy on, so that Cousin Fuller did not wet the bed. Go easy, little buddy. On December 23rd at 8:40 a.m., the McAllisters headed to the airport. What Mother Kate McAllister did not realize was that she would prove to be what the French call les incompetents. They left their son Kevin at home, alone. When the plane landed, Kate phoned police and a welfare check was conducted at the home. But it was reported to the family that Kevin was missing. That's when Kate McAllister left her family in Miami and headed back to Chicago to locate her son. Little did she know she'd never make it, and she was last seen at an airport in Scranton, PA. Kate was last seen with this mysterious group of men, all carrying tubas. She was never seen again. The only clues left behind were this bucket of paint, a broken picture of Buzz's girlfriend, Wolf, and traces of flesh on the floor, supposedly belonging to a bald head. So what do you think happened to Kevin McAllister? Was it the wet bandits who were charged with criminal robbery and aggravated water damage on the same night of his disappearance? Do you think it could have been a local pizza delivery driver who got stiffed by Kevin and sought revenge on the little brat? Keep the change, you filthy animal. What about the spooky neighbor who had an estranged relationship with his son? Were we supposed to care about this plot point? What happened to Mrs. McAllister? And who are these large men? Is she in the tuba? Oh, okay. Something else.
Home Alone, Dark Origins, man. That's what they gonna name that movie.
I have a dream, a song to sing,
Having a Disney too?
to help me cope with anything. If you see the wonder,
It's too close to it.
of a fairy tale, you can take the future, even if you fail. I believe in angels.
It's too close to the shore. Way too
Something
close.
good in everything I see. I believe in.
What was up with that?
Entire World Part 2. Raquel opened up the oven and saw her 19-month-old baby with burns all over her body. The child wasn't moving or breathing at all. They called the ambulance, but it was already too late. They lost their child. There were no charges against the 3-year-old, but the parents got child endangerment and they actually got their kid taken away by foster care. The worst part about this is their grandmother actually lived in the same apartment building and could have been avoided if she just would have babysat them.
Why didn't she?
Disturbing facts that will ruin your day. There are between 25 and 50 active serial killers in the United States at any given time, according to the FBI. If you live a full life, you're going to have shed over 100 pounds of your skin. Cruise ships are legally required to have morgues for the passengers that inevitably will die on each trip. A Nightmare on Elm Street was inspired by a true story. A boy was having disturbing nightmares and refused to sleep for multiple days. The same night that he succumbed to exhaustion, he died in his sleep, but not before screaming for help in the middle of the night because of his nightmares. If you try to grab the brain in its natural state, it will fall apart. When you see scientists pick up a brain, it's because they've used chemicals to harden it. There are still 40 million people worldwide that are slaves. 3 in 4 of those are women, and 1 in 4 are children. Follow for more.
You gotta solve that, man. That's unacceptable.
This is why you should always
lock your doors. A junior in high school was home alone working on a paper while his parents were out to dinner. All night he sits with his back to his door, sitting at his desk with his noise-canceling headphones on. Around 11 o'clock he takes his headphones off at the same time his parents are returning to the house, and he hears his mom from downstairs yell, "Hey Adrian, what happened?" Confused, he runs downstairs and sees right away what she's looking at, muddy footprints all over the rug. He tells her, "I didn't leave my desk." And then they realize someone must have broken in. They look at the footprints and there's none leaving the house. They're worried someone's still in the house, so they run into the garage, terrified, call the police. Police arrive and they don't find anyone in the house, but they do make a chilling discovery upstairs. The police bring them to the kid's bedroom door, which had been left open all night, and they point to the message written on it in Sharpie. This is the actual transcript of what was written on his door, which means for nearly 2 hours, someone stood in this kid's doorway watching him.
That's why I don't wear those noise cancellation headphones.
Here's why you should stop rubbing your eyes.
That was no joke. You seriously need to stop rubbing your eyes as much, and here's why. Trust me, you might want to favorite this video because you might need this as a reminder in the future. Let's be honest, we're all guilty of this at some point. But I bet you didn't know that continually rubbing your eyes can actually cause really bad damage to your cornea. In fact, it can thin out your cornea, causing it to bulge. I mean, let's go back to the MRI footage. This is someone rubbing their eye, visibly being able to see the pressure it puts on your eye, and the way that the eye can actually change shape, increasing the pressure on your eye by 20 times. And it gets worse if you rub your eyes with your knuckles or the back of your hand. So although the occasional rub probably won't do you any harm, consistently doing it and consistently doing it hard could lead to potential vision loss. So send this to literally anyone you know, because for their eyes' sake, they need to see this. Elon!
Noted, man. I be, rubbing my eyes sometimes all the time. I'm a victim too, especially using my knuckles, so I didn't know it could make
The two brothers who took their parents' lives 35 years ago may now have an opportunity to be released this year. In 1989, Eric and Lyle Menendez took their parents' lives, Jose and Kitty Menendez, inside their home in Beverly Hills. The brothers were convicted of first-degree murder and were given life sentences without the possibility of parole. But the thing that has a lot of people questioning whether this was fair or not is the amount of evidence they have against their father showing that he essayed them growing up. Their father, who was an executive in the entertainment industry, had a lot of power, and Eric and Lyle were terrified of him. They were essayed by their father from a very young age until they were teenagers, and they even told their mother, but nothing was ever done. After taking their parents' lives out of fear, new evidence was revealed that their father also drugged and Ard, a 13-year-old boy named Roy Rosello, who was part of a popular Puerto Rican singing group called Menudo at the time. What I find so surprising about this is the amount of support Eric and Lyle have received from family members on both sides who truly believe them and are calling for justice. But on the other hand, there seems to be a conflict of interest. An attorney named Kathy Katie was just appointed to be the new director of the Bureau of Victim Services, which makes no sense because she's also the lawyer for the only family member of the Menendez brothers who strongly believes that Eric and Lyle should stay in prison for the rest of their lives. Many people believe that the brothers were not given a fair chance during their trial and deserve to be resentenced, which could now potentially happen at a hearing on March 20th. If you guys want to support Eric and Lyle's resentencing, you can share this post with the hashtag Justice for Eric and Lyle or email the DA through the website's form and tell them you support resentencing.
Here's what your birthmark actually says about your past life. If you have no birthmarks, this means you died of natural causes in your past life or you're a new soul. If you have a red birthmark anywhere on your body, this is a sign that you burned to death in your past life. If you have any skin impressions that look like this that's caused by acne or smallpox, that's where you've actually been wounded in your past life, and serves as a reminder from issues in your past life that you've come to the present to heal. If you have a spot anywhere on your eye, this is most likely a spear wound from your past life where someone most likely killed you while you were sleeping. If you have a birthmark on your head somewhere, and especially if you can't grow hair through it, this means you were probably killed by scalping, which is when someone cuts off all the hair and skin around your head before killing you. And if you have a birthmark like this with a dark center and a light ring around it, it's a sign that you were hit with a poison arrow in your past life.
Here are the creepiest things kids have ever said. And before I tell you these, I feel like I'm obliged to say, I'm so sorry. First up, we've got monster under the bed. One night, a young girl couldn't sleep because apparently there was something under her bed. And when her parents came into the room to say go back to sleep because there's nothing under her bed, she replied with, I know. He's behind you now. Like, I'm sorry. What? Next up, a 4-year-old girl was found in the bathroom by her mum with all of her Barbies. But she was making them float face down in the bath. When the mum asked what she was doing, she replied with, "The man in the wardrobe told me if I didn't do it, it would be my turn to swim face down." Next up, a 3-year-old boy was softly singing in a room while colouring in a picture. His mum actually stopped to listen because she'd never heard the song before. When she asked where he learnt it, he said, "The lady in my bedroom sang it to me." And finally, a 5-year-old asked his mum when he was going to be 23. His mum said in 18 years' time, and he replied with, "Well, I hope I don't die again, as that was how old I was the last time I went to heaven." Tell me which story made you go, "What the fuck?" the most, and share this with a friend to just creep him out because you're a good person. Now everyone with me.
A case that makes me sick. The murder of Kenneth White. These 5 teenagers was throwing rocks from an overpass. Eventually, one rock hit the windshield of White's car and hit his face.
They do that, man.
You should never swim in any of these places. Number 1, the river Ganges in India. Thousands of people swim here every year, but it's one of the most polluted places on the planet. It has over 3,000 times the amount of unsafe chemicals. And to make matters worse, bodies are even dumped in the river. Number 2, Lake Berisa in California. The reason you should never swim here is because there is a massive spillway inside the lake. This is to make sure the water doesn't rise too high. People and animals have been swept into this spillway, making it a very dangerous place. Number 3, Lake Karach in Russia. Its amazing blue color attracts many tourists. But what they don't realize is that it's the most polluted lake on the planet. When the Soviet Union were making nukes, they dumped all their nuclear wastes into this lake. If you ever swam in this lake, you'll only be alive for about 30 minutes. Number 4, the boiling lake in Dominica. Underneath this boiling lake is red magma, and the lake's water is at 100 degrees Celsius. For more?
Okay, man. That goes to show you, bro. Like, on the surface, those lakes, like I said, some of those, man, lakes, they look freaking beautiful, but they're deadly, man. Beauty kills. I can't believe it, especially 2 of those lakes, man. They just look like regular lakes, man. You never know.
There's techniques in the entire world that you will wish I never told you about. It's part 4, boys. This is known as white room torture, and once again, it is still used today. It doesn't look like much from a photo, but it's horrific and one of the worst tortures you can experience. Basically, you'll be placed in just a white room, like a prison cell, but it's just plain white. Everything in the room is white. The bed, the walls, the toilet, the shelves, the door, everything. There's no other colours in the room. Now you probably think, well, it's not a big deal, it's just white. Well, you'd be wrong there. By seeing the same colour, especially white, constantly and no change, will drive you insane. To the point where you're hallucinating, smashing into the walls, and possibly even trying to kill yourself. That's why most of these white rooms are actually padded, so people can't just run havoc in the walls. But yeah, for the first day or 2, you'd be, it's not that bad. But people will be held in here for months upon months upon months. And after around only day 3, you'll start to go insane. Like and follow for more.
Creepy facts.
How long does the guy survive in the white room?
Signs. Gemini two-faced.
Two-Face? That's what they're talking about. That's what I'm getting off those
Taurus,
pictures.
stalkers.
Stalker vibes from Taurus.
Aquarius, very manipulating.
Is that true for Aquariuses?
Leo, good liars.
Leos are good liars. Drop your sign down below.
Cancer, obsessive in relationships.
Each sign got their own fault.
Libra knows how to ruin your day in every way.
Damn.
This has to be one of the creepiest mugshots I've ever seen, and the story behind it is pretty disturbing. This is the man in the mugshot, Christopher Queen. At the time of his arrest, he was 48 years old and living in Pennsylvania. So on election day in 2018, Christopher entered a polling center in Pennsylvania planning on casting a vote. But when he arrived to vote, he was told that he couldn't because he wasn't registered. Poll workers who were working that day even stated that they heard Christopher mention that he was getting paid $100 to come vote, which obviously was not true. But when Christopher arrived, like I said before, he wasn't registered to vote in Washington County, the county he was in. When the workers told him that he couldn't vote, they noticed that Christopher began to shake uncontrollably and became filled with some sort of a rage. He then, and after that, he was quickly put into handcuffs. I don't know the full story behind why he chose to exhibit this expression in his mugshot, but they caught him before he could enact any sort of violence, and yeah, he was arrested. It's worth noting as well that in other news reports that surfaced after this threat was made, Christopher is seen smiling in the same type of manner. Luckily though, authorities were able to arrest Christopher and put him in custody that day before he could cause any violence.
So it looks like Art the Clown is going to be starring in a brand new horror movie, and we don't have to wait until Terrifier 4. As we know, the actor who plays Art the Clown is David Howard Thornton, who of course plays Art the Clown, and who also played the Grinch in The Mean Ones, which I feel like is a little bit overhated. Yes, it's a low-budget horror movie having to do with the Grinch story, but there are a ton of aspects that David Howard Thornton uses while playing the Grinch in The Mean Ones that really makes it feel like it's Art the Clown. And I feel like it's almost the same thing we're going to be getting in this Mickey Mouse horror movie having to do with Steamboat Willie, a Steamboat Willie horror movie, pretty much Mickey Mouse, more or less. Now yes, technically it's one of those lower budget horror movies, kind of like the Grinch the Mean Ones. And if you've seen the trailer, you might know that it does not look great. I'm going to reiterate one more time, neither did Terrifier when it first came out. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be using CGI either. It looks like they're going to be doing a full costume like they do in Terrifier. Obviously I cannot show you the trailer because it's extremely graphic, and I don't really know if it's something that you want to watch in general. But all in all, I think it's amazing that David Howard Thornton is not only just playing Art the Clown, but playing these other characters. And I'm hoping he's going to be giving it a little bit of Art the Clown inspo. As I said, when he played the Grinch in The Mean Ones, there were aspects of Art the Clown, that funny, that humor, that we only see from Art the Clown. I'm just glad we don't have to wait till Terrifier 4.
Do you ever see a picture that just makes your stomach drop? This is a still from an alert that a woman named Alexis Randall got on her phone. It's from a security camera that was set up in her living room, but she's looking at this and she's thinking the same thing you were. She's like, what's wrong with the picture here? Why did the motion detector go off? But then look a bit closer, specifically at the bathroom door. This man was staring at the camera from the doorway. She spots this picture and she immediately panics and calls the police, but by the time they get there, this guy is gone. What really freaked her out even more is that when police got there, they found evidence that the bathroom window had been tampered with. Further security footage would show that the man had crawled through the bathroom window the night before and was hiding in the hallway bathroom all through the night, even while she was in the house. And if you guys are loving Creep Time, make sure to go follow on Insta.
One of my worst fears, man. Somebody just in your house and you have no idea. I didn't even see that until he zoomed in.
Here are the most terrifying mythical beasts from around the world. First up, the Wendigo. The Wendigo is described as a gigantic creature which is a near-perfect hunter and can control the weather through the use of dark magic. Native Canadian and American folklore state that the Wendigo is born when a human has to resort to cannibalism to survive, although it has also been described as a spirit which possesses humans who are excessively greedy or gluttonous. Before we continue, please show your support by pressing share copy link to receive a brofist in the comments section. Next up, Black Annis. Black Annis is a hag-like creature in English folklore with iron claws and an appetite for human children. Legend has it that Black Annis would hide in trees waiting for her victims, and when she caught them, she would wear their skins around her waist. But if you were careful, you could hear her teeth grinding and run away. Let me know what countries I should do next.
The Wendigos, man. I learned some new lore on that.
Lost inventions that could have changed the world, part 4. In the late 1990s, inventor Jan Slow created the Slow digital coding system. He claimed it could compress an entire multi-gigabyte movie down to a file size of 8 kilobytes. This would have revolutionized the way we store and share data. Slout demonstrated this to executives from Philips by playing 16 movies simultaneously from a single 64 kilobyte chip. And the Philips execs told Slout that he was about to be, quote, the richest man on earth. However, 2 days before the source code was going to be handed over, Slout mysteriously died in his garden of a heart attack on September 11th, 1999. And his decoding software was never recovered.
Now, what do you guys think about that? There's no way that's a coincidence, man. It compacted all those files into like just 8 gigabytes. And there was proof he showed him, man. He was about to be the richest man on earth. Somebody didn't want that product to go through. I don't know who buying that one. That's
YouTubers who've done horrible things. Jay Station was a Canadian YouTuber who would often do pranks and 3M videos. One day, he claimed that his girlfriend Alexia was suddenly killed in a car accident. However, he used her death as a way to get views, even communicating to her through an Ouija board. Alexia was revealed to be alive, and once the truth came out, she later revealed how mentally abusive he was. This would later lead to his channel being demonetized.
Times when actors
I remember
couldn't
that.
act. In The Boys, Homelander is one of the most menacing and intimidating villains we've ever seen. In this scene, he knocks over a door just by knocking. But when Anthony Starr realizes he accidentally broke the set, he completely breaks character.
Shit, are you supposed to do that?
Sorry, guys.
You broke the door, man.
I'm sorry. And for this flying scene, they actually filmed it practically, but Anthony Starr could not stay in character.
My life. This. Off. Holy. Okay. Please, let's go.
In Spider-Man Far From Home, there's a scene where Ned shares a big secret with Peter, but Tom Holland couldn't keep a straight face while filming.
I'm a virgin.
I'm so sorry.
In Wednesday, Jenna Ortega's character is dark and unapologetic, but after she accidentally hits Emma Myers with a flashlight, she snaps out of character.
Oh, sorry. Did I hit you in the face right now? Hold on. Are you okay?
And lastly, when filming Rush Hour, Jackie Chan barely knew any English, which led to him messing up his lines in the funniest ways.
Cheese!
Cheese?
Freeze!
Meanwhile, his co-star Chris Tucker didn't know any Chinese, which led to this.
Shishin. Ni shishin. Shishin.
See? How different goes that? My English, you even cannot say 3 words!
Each out, bro. Rush Hour. Classic, man.
Guess who's back again to traumatize y'all with more creepy stuff? Me! So this is a gigantic, breathing animatronic that is in Shanghai, China, and it's of Confucius, the Chinese teacher. It is absolutely massive. Look how big it is in comparison to that dude right there. And it is in a pool of water that it's only like a foot deep, but it's still terrifying. Look at this. Like, its beard is in the water. That's creepy. Bro is like hyper realistic. Like, that looks like real skin. That is so freaking uncanny. And apparently his chest moves like very, very subtly, so it looks like he's breathing. No. This picture alone heebies my jeebies beyond absolute belief. Imagine that you work in this museum at night and like your job is to go put out the lights in this area of the museum, and you're this guy and you have to put off the lights and turn off the animatronic for the night, and that thing is in the dark just staring at you. Nope. Love his eyebrows though. Like, for real, his eyebrows look amazing. He's not at the museum anymore. In the video that I watched about him, he actually is put in a warehouse somewhere. So this gigantic monstrosity is just chilling in a dark warehouse somewhere right now on this planet. How do you feel about this one? Does this freak you out? Would you be able to look at it or get anywhere close to it? Would you get in that water? Me? No.
Here are 3 real ways you can survive encountering a Gashadakuru. According to Japanese mythology, the Gashadakuru is a massive skeletal being known for its unending desire to consume human blood. The first rule you'll need to follow if you suspect there's a Gashadakuru in your area is to always keep your ears open for anything that sounds unfamiliar. Despite its size, the Gashadakuru is known to be able to stalk its prey almost silently, but if you listen carefully, there's a chance you'll hear its bones chattering in the wind, giving you time to flee. Secondly, it's recommended you don't travel alone if you live in a rural area, as the Gashadakuru prefers to hunt people who are by themselves, to avoid drawing attention to itself. Finally, it's recommended that you avoid old battlefields or areas where there is an abundance of improperly buried individuals, as these are the conditions necessary to spawn a Gashadakuru. Tag a friend if you're watching this alone, and follow for more.
Thanks for letting
The
us know.
Craziest Human Experiments, Part 6. The Gruesome Beheading Experiments. Throughout the 19th and 20th century, French doctors investigated whether freshly executed victims stayed alive moments after their death. One notable case was that of Charlotte Corday, who was publicly executed in 1793. According to reports at the time, her severed head was lifted up by the executioner and slapped across the face. And to the shock of the crowd, the victim's face apparently blushed and appeared angry. Another famous case in 1905 where a man shouted at a severed head and it apparently responded back. Their main goal was to find out how long a human head remained conscious after death.
They figured it out? I don't know. I
This
heard it
is
was
why
over.
you never paddleboard out in the ocean.
And there you have it, recent 4,269, I'd ride cross country on a bike with no seat, pause, before I go out into the open ocean. That is a nope of the highest order. Those are South American sea nettles, a species of jellyfish that can have a bell, you know, that umbrella looking part, more than 3 feet across. To go with tentacles that can range anywhere from 3 to 10 feet long. And I don't think I even really need to tell you, but yeah, touching one of those can be really bad for your health. They use venom to paralyze prey, but it can also cause excruciating pain and a really bad rash if you get stung. And if you think that's bad, I got something even worse. This is what a jellyfish pool party in Peru looks like the devil's bubble bath. And guess what? This kind of thing, it's only gonna get worse. Because whether you want to believe in climate change or not, the more the Earth's thermostat gets turned up, the more the jellyfish start turning up on us. Since unlike most of the effery in the ocean, jellyfish actually do better in warmer waters with less oxygen. Especially since climate change means more CO2 means more algae blooms, and guess what likes to eat algae? And you don't have to be in the water to get rocked by jellyfish. There have been times where jellyfish swarms got so bad they dead for caused power outages because they managed to clog the pipes of power plants. Now go ahead and add the fact that some jellyfish can spawn 45,000 eggs a day, especially if we're actively murking the things that eat them. Just another reason to save the turtles.
Save the turtles,
The most
man.
insane trade war has officially begun because Canada, Mexico, and China are pissed and have now all announced their own plans on how to retaliate against Trump's tariffs. I mean, even at last night's NHL hockey game, you had Canadians booing the US national anthem. So what the hell is going on? Well, you see, yesterday Trump's promised 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico and 10% on China officially kicked in. And what that means is that any goods sent from these countries to the United States, well, they'll now cost companies 25% more, or 10% in China's case. So for example, if a Canadian business sent a car to the US that cost $50,000, today US companies will pay a $12,500 tariff at the border. But then, and here's the annoying part, they'll pass that cost down to you, the US customer. So the price of your once $50,000 car is now actually $62,500. But this doesn't make sense. Why would Trump purposefully make things more expensive for Americans? Well, two main reasons. The first is more of a longer-term, unguaranteed benefit, but it would be to change consumer habits to buy more American-made products and incentivize more international companies to manufacture in the US. In theory, that means a stronger US economy, more stable jobs, and less dependence on foreign countries. And the second reason for imposing these tariffs would be to use them as a tool to pressure Canada, Mexico, and China into doing what Trump wants. I mean, some of these things that he's publicly mentioned include renegotiating trade deals, stopping illegal immigration and the flow of fentanyl, and then there's also Canada becoming a state of America, but that's a bit more far-fetched. But here's where things get interesting, because instead of just doing what Trump wants, Canada have clapped back with a 25% tariff of their own, and Mexico said they're doing the same, but haven't announced the percentage yet. China reacted in a little bit of a different way by preparing to file a lawsuit with the World Trade Organization. So why is Trump not backing down? Well, just listen to this. In 2023, Canada sent 76% of all of their exports to the United States. That accounts for roughly 19% of their entire GDP. In 2024, Mexico sent 78% of all of their exports to the United States. That makes up 37% of their entire GDP. But for America, their exports to both countries combined only make up roughly 2.7% of their entire GDP. So, simply put, even if they do retaliate, getting into a tariff war with the United States would hit Canada and Mexico much harder. Trump, he knows this, and he's using it. It doesn't make it any less controversial, and it does still mean that people in all three countries will see a price increase. But it seems like, for Trump at least, that's just the cost of America winning.
It claims that the show was inspired by events that happened in a Bulgarian mental facility called La La Land. Children there were isolated from the others and placed in dark rooms. But apparently 4 of those children died on the same day, inspiring the Teletubbies. Lala apparently had facial disfigurement and was isolated for 5 years, and that inspired the Teletubby Lala. Toy was a deaf, facially disfigured kid who was tied to a fence outside and had gotten frostbitten from the cold. This inspired Tinky Winky. Donka, who was starved and was very, very sick, would lay in his own vomit for days, inspired Dipsy. And finally, Paulina, who had fell into a fire and was roasted alive, inspired Poe. But you won't believe the reason they were called the Teletubbies. You see, the children's main source of entertainment in their rooms were their TVs. They were as small as a small iPad. Sometimes when they heard their toys was going to be confiscated, they would hide them in their mouths. And they had just found out that the institution was going to get rid of the TVs. And they didn't want that, and they couldn't hide the TVs in their mouths. So one of them had the great idea to hide them in their stomachs, because that's the only place they could fit. In order to fit the TVs inside and hide them, they tried it, and the next morning, the caregiver walked in on all 4 children dead.
This is the freaky story of the Lemon Glitch Girl. So this girl is a cook in a restaurant or a cafe or a hotel. I'm not really sure what this place is. She was chopping a lemon in the kitchen, and then she picked one of the slices and she cut it in half. But then when she picked it up again, it wasn't cut in half. She is now realizing that there is something very, very off. She went back to get the tapes, and she saw that she indeed did cut the lemon in half.
Yeah.
She started talking about this story on her TikTok, and then she got banned. Then she went to her mom's TikTok and repurposed the same story, and then she got banned on her mom's account as well. Now the whole internet is calling it the Matrix glitch. I don't want to give it that name, but I did see with my own eyes that she did cut the lemon in half. What do you guys think happened?
You saw her cut it, man. She cut the lemon in 4K, and she went on 2 separate TikTok accounts to try to reveal the truth, man. We seeking it out, and they banned her accounts twice. That's some iffy stuff right there, man. Tap in with us, man. You guys gonna learn the truth. That's weird. We definitely saw her cut
UK's
it.
heaviest man, Jason Holton, has just passed away 1 week before his 34th birthday. His heartbroken mother said that he began overeating as a teenager after his father passed away, and at one point he was eating roughly 10,000 calories a day. Over the years, his weight increased to the point where his legs could no longer hold him, and after becoming bedridden, he didn't leave his room for a staggering 6 months. He said he would cry every day because he felt like he had imprisoned himself. At that point, he weighed around 317 kg, or for those who in the US, 700 pounds. In 2020, his organs began to shut down, and he had to be airlifted by a crane from his mother's 3rd floor flat by a team of more than 30 firemen and engineers.
Crazy.
When he got to the hospital, doctors said that they wanted to send him to London Zoo to get a heart scan, because the only machine big enough to hold him was used by vets for very large animals. Luckily, thanks to his treatment at hospital, his condition began to stabilize. But 4 years later, he was rushed to hospital yet again. But this time, doctors said that they couldn't save him, and he had about a week left to live. The coroner's report stated on Tuesday he died from organ failure and obesity at only 33 years old.
We need a little bit.
Follow my TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for more. Interacting really helps.
We need to talk about what happened to Sally Stitch.
Sally was a girl from a small village in the middle of the mountains. People described her as shy and awkward, and there was one group of kids who would always bully her. One day as Sally was walking home, the bullies found her and started throwing rocks at her. But then Sally did something that shocked them. She pointed at one of the bullies and said, "You will die in 3 days." At first they thought this must be a joke, but 3 days later that boy started unexpectedly throwing up blood. The doctors couldn't find out what caused it, and he passed away exactly when Sally predicted. Soon everyone knew about Sally's ability and it really scared them. So a group of villagers lured Sally into an abandoned mine, and once no one could see her or hear her scream, they tied her to a chair and took out a sewing needle. They stitched Sally's lips together so she could never foretell another death. Then they left her in the mine and sealed the door closed. It's said that since Sally passed away alone in the dark and unable to scream, she now haunts anyone who knows what really happened to her. And once you hear her story, you have to pass it on to someone else, or she'll appear by your bed with a needle to make sure you never speak again. So send this story to someone else and follow for more.
Insane true stories that you won't believe. This man right here is named Henry Tandy, and Henry was the most decorated British soldier during World War I, meaning that he had the most medals and honors. But that's not why he's known today. On a fall day in 1918, Henry was propped up on a war trench just like this one, scanning the battlefield before the day came to an end. As he was looking across the field, he noticed a shadowy figure walking towards him through the mist. He grabbed his rifle because he wasn't sure if this guy was on his side or the enemy. And as the figure got closer, Henry realized that this guy was severely wounded. And he had a German uniform, meaning that he was indeed the enemy. The wounded soldier kept walking slowly towards Henry, not knowing the danger he had gotten himself into. Henry aimed his rifle at the man and prepared to shoot. But as the German realized what was about to happen, he didn't try to run away. He just stood there and accepted his fate. For some reason, Henry just couldn't find the strength to shoot this guy. The soldier didn't even have a weapon, so Henry lowered his rifle and let him escape. That soldier was Adolf Hitler.
What? Man. That's a bizarre coincidence, man. It's like it's things in the universe, man. Some people, when they don't follow up with something, man, that one moment changed everybody's lives in the course of history. That's scary.
Interesting facts you didn't know. The last one will shock you. There are only 2 people alive who know the recipe of Coca-Cola, and they aren't allowed to travel on the same plane in case it crashes. Do you know that TikTok knows who has a crush on you? Your secret admirer is the second person that appears when you click on share than WhatsApp. Research shows that most dog owners would rather hang out with their dogs instead of other people. There is no single comment under this video with 0 likes. People who like the smell of gasoline, nail polish, and acetone have a very strong tendency to do drugs. Before passing away, Albert Einstein said a few words in German. The only person to listen was a nurse who didn't speak German. If you comment evil, you will unlock a new secret TikTok emoji. Remember to use the brackets with small letter. There is a species of jellyfish that is biologically immortal. This means that it can theoretically live forever as long as it doesn't get eaten or injured. The world's oldest piece of gum is 9,000 years old, and it was found in Sweden. And now, before the last fact, support us by pressing the plus button for more interesting content every day. The probability of you drinking a glass of water with molecules that have passed through a dinosaur is almost 100%.
Damn, what the hell? We drink a dinosaur? Booty water? What the hell?
Okay, let's do it. Yes, y'all, my blinds are closed. Today we are going to talk about the movie The Incredibles and how it connects to today's society. Now, as we know, The Incredibles is about a superhuman family that tries to save the world. In the beginning, it was just 2 of them. They were using their powers, helping people, saving the world, until the government and the news media started to hate them. They were supposedly taking away the jobs of police and firefighters and all that, until they made it illegal to be a superhero. He hated his life. He tried to be domestic. He tried to have a job. He got married. He had kids and all of that. He tried to live the regular life as a human. But it just wasn't it. He knew he could be more. Now, why do I say this? We all are living just like Bob. We have so much greatness that we can create, but we want to sit at a desk. Don't believe me? So it is said over 90% of our DNA is junk. Because it's not activated, we don't use it. It's just sitting in our bodies just doing nothing, huh? What if the food that we eat and the air that we breathe is constantly blocking us from those powers? So we can't be like the Incredible. Y'all have to understand that there are things put in place to keep you at the specific level in your life that you are right now. You are so much more than trying to memorize the front register. Do more and be more. It shouldn't just be school, work, family, die. They need things to keep running the way it is. They want us to be just like Bob when he was working and he was over it and he had them powers and he didn't get to use them. Because it messes up what they want and they have. It works out for them if we're just docile and we don't pay attention to things. Everything will be okay if you just do everything their way. Don't do anything extraordinary, just be normal and don't do nothing but work.
Preach.
And then groom your kids, take them to school and make them work just like you. Don't be like this. Don't use your powers. Be in the system. But y'all be safe.
Nah, she was spitting though, man. I was like, sometimes, because that's what I kind of think too, man. It's like we just conditioned to, you know, go to school, get a job, start a family, that's it. But I mean, you can do more. Obviously, you can be more. You should strive for more. So she was hitting that now. Like, I agree with her on that.
You go to London, don't even think about using your phone on the streets anymore. In recent years, there has been a massive surge in phone thefts. People waiting for the bus or just walking around using their phones. When these guys dressed in all black will come up behind them on a bike, snatch their phone out of their hands and quickly accelerate off.
What?
And this is not like 1 or 2 cases a day. There was almost 91,000 phones stolen from Londoners in 2022, which is an average of 248 a day, or 1 stolen every 6 seconds. Oh my lord. And it's believed to only have got worse since then.
Man.
Nearly 70% of all thefts in London were related to mobile phones. Only 2% of the stolen phones were actually recovered, and young people are disproportionately the targets of these crimes. And that is why...
Shocking true story about a 200-year-old mummified monk that is still alive.
Nah.
A 200-year-old mummified monk has been found in Mongolia. Although the monk is mummified, reports say he's not actually dead, but in a deep meditative state. There is so much curiosity about this that people were trying to smuggle and sell him on the black market. Although they're not totally sure his identity, they believe he was a teacher that told his students he was going to die and to dig him up in 30 years.
He was still alive? He was in the deep dished state?
What, don't know they exist?
Sharks have no fucking clue that camels exist. And
oh boy, do I have a story for you. So like, fun fact, actually mildly disturbing fact, camels are one of those animals that have no business swimming but do it anyway, and they're unnecessarily good at it. And an animal whose home address is the desert being able to pull up on you in the ocean is one of the biggest you I do what I want moves from nature.
True.
There's a type of dromedary camel called karai that are so comfortable with water that they'll cross rivers and even shallow stretches of the ocean as they look for food. And that's because these overgrown water donkeys love eating mangroves on islands offshore, so much that they'll travel for hours to get it. There's actually a pretty good chance that at least one shark has seen one of these sand-loving hump jockeys out in the ocean. He told his friends. They did not believe him. Moral of this video. If you're ever on a boat off the coast of a country like Algeria, you better be prepared to say what's up to a camel.
You never know. The more you know, man, about nature.
Why
have
have scientists done this? Scientists have successfully brought back a 48,000-year-old zombie virus.
What the?
Have to go to Mars yet.
Why?
Now trust me, you're going to want to favorite this video because this could actually change the world. So not just that, they also identified 13 new viruses in the same permafrost, each genetically different from each other. The amoeba virus that they have successfully woken up from its slumber has been brought to a point where it is now capable of infecting other living organisms. Or another living organism! And not just that, the lead scientist herself said this, that these reanimating viruses are potentially a significant threat to public health. And researchers have warned that this is just the tip of the iceberg, saying that the increasing warming of the Earth will thaw the remainder of the Siberian permafrost, revealing nasty pathogens from melting organic matter, releasing them potentially into the world. So trust me, send this video to literally anyone you know because they need to see it. Yo, Elon!
Why do these scientists, why are they trying to bring back those type of things, man? They're like frozen, they're supposed to be gone for a reason, and we seeing they bring them back, they studying them. That's how it starts in all the freaking apocalypse movies and things like that, man. A scientist just wants to study it and it gets out of control. We've seen this happen 1,000 times. They just don't listen, man.
Fascinating as fuck. In the year 1996, Ukraine handed over all their nuclear weapons to Russia in exchange for a guarantee to never be threatened or invaded. ended. In 2009, Burger King ran a marketing campaign called the Whopper Sacrifice. Basically, they give you a free Whopper for deleting 10 of your friends off Facebook. Facebook actually had to shut down the campaign because people were getting offended that they were unadded for a Whopper. In the rural homestead communities of the early 1900s, if a mother was unable to breastfeed her baby, a goat nurse would be brought in to feed the baby, saving its life. A Japanese company has recently started selling cakes, but canned and out of a vending machine. They come packaged in what looks like a Coke can, and all you have to do is pop off the lid and dig in. This footage shows a new Japanese game show conducting an experiment to see if humans would fall for a lanternfish's trap. Ethiopia has a totally different calendar to the rest of the world, meaning they're 7 to 8 years behind us. Current year in Ethiopia, 2014.
What? Need to go to Ethiopia, bro. We're going back in time.
This is really strange. This ex-Marine says he believes he may have just stumbled upon a serial killer crime after strangely finding multiple women's high heels in a very remote location in western Colorado. Levi was out in the desert four-wheeling when he needed to pee, so he goes over to this pond which he had never seen before because of its hidden location. And as he's doing his thing, he looks down and notices a woman's shoe. At first he didn't think much of it until he saw another shoe which matched the first. He decided to walk around a little bit and he came across 5 pairs of women's shoes all along this shoreline, some of which had heels snapped off. And because they were all different sizes and types, indicating that they belonged to multiple different people, at this point his interest was really piqued. But things got even stranger. On his walk, he noticed that just underneath the surface of the water, there were these large boulders placed all the way out into the mud. And they just so happened to be in a position where you can step on them, either to walk all the way out to this island, or to a deep section of the pond. He's not sure which. Either way, he decided to walk out himself when the water was much lower than you can see in this video. And about halfway in, he sees a little piece of plastic sticking up out of the mud. It isn't long until he finds out that this little piece of plastic was actually a heel of one of the shoes he had already found. The next day he goes back, but this time he calls friends who had sniffer dogs. And in total, they found 10 pairs of women's shoes. And they weren't just regular. All of them were very fancy dress-up heels. All of them had matching pairs, and one of them he even described as being brand new. He says that he did go to the sheriff's department, but when they told him it was probably nothing, he couldn't let it go. And yesterday he decided to post a video about this whole situation, looking for answers and help. And the part that really caught my attention is that he's never posted anything like this before. All of his previous videos were just about his epoxy floors and countertops. So if anyone does have any answers, I've tagged his page. I'll keep you guys updated as we find out more.
Which countries have the most serial killers? On average, in your lifetime, you will walk past 36 murderers/serial killers. So that actually got me thinking, which countries have the most serial killers? And of course, there's a study, and here are the results. The top 21 countries with the most serial killers, so the countries with the least are Sweden, the Netherlands, Scotland, Poland, Spain, and Hungary. Placing 15th to 11th, we have Austria, Brazil, Mexico, China, and France. Okay, now this is the top 10 countries that have produced the most serial killers. We have Russia, India, Australia, Germany, and Japan. Placing in the top 5, we have Italy with 97, Canada with 106, South Africa with 117, England with 166, and the United States with 3,204. Now say this is someone who you know lives in one of these countries because you made the list. Elon!
That's a damn shame. Why the hell we top of that lit? That many, man. What the hell is going on in America? That's an edit. Call it like we see it, man. Call them out.
Proof that we weren't alone.
Hello, my friend.
Big
Every
ass
few
elephant?
months this video is remade and circulates, and then I get tagged. The video was of Elephant Rock. It's found in Iceland. It may look like an elephant's head from this side, which is why you only show one side. The other side happens to be regular rock. But I like this. You showed an image of Zunisha, a character from One Piece. One Piece happens to be one of my favorite shows. It's basically a world with many different islands, and this island happens to be a living elephant. There's like a settlement at the top. But for an elephant, Zunisha sure has some lanky legs.
He debunks them all, man. If you see him on the screen, he's debunking it.
It is a picture of the last Neanderthal. Oh my days.
Hello, my friend. That image was created using AI. But I think it's important to note that Neanderthal was shorter than Homo sapiens. The average Neanderthal was below 5'6", or 170 centimeters. And from the archaeological evidence we have, Neanderthals went extinct around 30 to 40,000 years ago. And believe it or not, the tallest of the known human species is actually the Homo sapien.
So the Neanderthals and the Homo sapiens, they're, I guess, completely different class of humans. Like I said, man, he's spitting, bro. When he's on the screen, he will debunk everything. That's what I'm gonna guess from now on. When he's on the screen, he's gonna debunk. He's gonna show us the truth.
Did this woman chop her husband up and dump him in a suitcase? Melanie Maguire married Bill in 1999. They had 2 sons together, and from the outside it looked like they had a really good relationship. However, behind closed doors, things were not good. Melanie claimed that Bill had a gambling problem and a temper. One night in 2004, Melanie claims that Bill pushed her against a wall in an argument and hit her. She then stated that he tried to choke her. The next day, Bill was missing. Melanie contacted a divorce attorney and also filed for a restraining order. On May the 5th, 2004, some fishermen discovered a suitcase in Chesapeake Bay. Inside, they made a horrific discovery. Inside was a man's dismembered legs.
Damn.
Over the next week or 2, more suitcases were found. These contained a torso, a head, thighs, and a pelvis. It was found that the person had been shot to death. When the man was identified as Bill Maguire, Melanie said that she burst into tears. Interestingly, police found that Melanie had bought a gun 2 days before Bill's disappearance. They also found out she was having an affair. Police then discovered Bill's vehicle in Atlantic City. Melanie claims that she'd moved the vehicle as a prank. She said that he was out at a casino and she was sick of him gambling, so she moved the car. However, police found on Melanie's computer that she Googled how to purchase guns illegally. She also searched how to commit murder and undetectable poisons. Rubbish bags in her house also matched the rubbish bags that Bill was wrapped in. Melanie was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison, but she maintained she was not the killer. She suggested that her husband may have been killed over gambling debts. She claims that Bill had told her to buy a gun to protect herself.
Cap. The thing that always gets to me is I'm like, they do these things and then I said, why they search it up before they do it, acting like that, man, that the police doesn't like, they can't search that up, they can't find the information. That blows my mind every single time, man. It's like people of their own incompetent. You searching something up like that, you don't think that's like flagged in the system. I'm pretty sure like people think, oh, I'm on a private tab or something like that, they can't find out. No, I'm thinking if you type in certain things on the internet, it might ping or something, man. You might not see it, but they gonna keep an eye on you. Crazy. Seekers, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true one. Thank you guys for supporting me, man. Like I said, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, man, hit that post notification. Also, man, I have super things turned on, so you guys can mess with that as well. I've been seeing the growth, man. I really appreciate it. We're doing daily uploads, man. Comment down below, man, if you guys are enjoying these long daily uploads, man. I know I do. Like I said, we're growing. We're going to keep on continuing to get better with each and every video. Out. Peace, YouTube.